Now then, people, it's time for another episode of Lockdown Live. That's what we're calling it, Oscar, Lockdown Live. You missed yesterday, obviously, working from home and doing bits. But, yeah, Lockdown Live, we're going to we are going to do every night during this lockdown. In some capacity, we will get some lives out for people to enjoy. Tonight, we've chosen to do a watch-along of the Manchester Derby Carabao Cup semi-final game between that team across the Pennines and obviously Man City. So we're all City fans tonight. How are you doing, mate? All right?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, I mean, obviously, you look at this game coming up. It's going to be a good game, isn't it? Let's be honest. There's so much talent on that football pitch. I think obviously Fernandes versus Kevin De Bruyne is that battle that really catches the eye, doesn't it? I mean, as much as I hate to admit it, he's a top player, Fernandes, and so is De Bruyne. So it's a battle between two world-class players at the end of the day. Yeah. So, it's an interesting one today. But yeah, mate, obviously lockdown. It's another couple of weeks. I'm thinking of
I know it's
shave the whole head by some point. I'm thinking
I'm thinking of growing mine out
at some point. To be fair,
I think I'm going to grow mine out. To be fair,
it's either am I going to go extreme or just shave it? I don't know. We're debating it.
Just for those that are watching as well, like I say, it's going to be pretty relaxed. If you want to ask some questions, you want to chat about Leeds, it's totally fine. We'll just give some sort of commentary on the game, unless, of course, Manchester United go in the lead, and then we'll just not even bother with the game. But look,
I didn't fancy sleeping tonight, to be fair. I mean, I could have watched Bilbao Barca, but yeah, it's a great cure for insomnia watching Barcelona in a minute, to be fair.
Definitely. Ben says you're just getting away from the kids now, Joe. Yeah, I think that's what it is as well, mate, if I'm being totally honest. Do you know what it is, though? Genuinely, I need that, though. I need this. It gives me a bit of a release, and that's what the aim was by me and Oscar choosing to do this, was to because we've had some pretty nice messages saying people are very grateful that we're doing it. And it helps me as well, right? Because I've been in the house, the kids are homeschooling, the missus is working from home, I've got a new puppy, I've got a 2-year-old, and at times my head feels like it's going to fall off. So when it's time for night time and bed, I know that I can come here and look forward to some Leeds United chat, have some banter and all that sort of stuff. So it helps me as well. And hopefully it helps you guys in some capacity that do choose to watch us. Tomorrow we've got some people coming on. As I say, if you want to get involved, I'll keep saying this all throughout. If you want to get involved, either message myself or Oscar or the All Leeds TV account, and we'll get you on. We've got 3 people lined up for tomorrow. Again, these are content creators. They're just fans of the channel that want to come on. So we're just going to do that. So if you want to get involved, then please do message us. Friday will be before the whistle blows. We're not sure. We're thinking we're going to try do a quiz on Saturday maybe and make Saturday's quiz day unless Leeds are playing, of course. But we'll
find something. We'll play around with something, quiz kind of format, a bit of banter. But yeah, mate. I mean, we've got enough days to play around with, sadly, in terms of if any guys want to come on. It's a case of just come on, guys. Why not? Why not? It's a bit of a laugh.
Here's a question for us then while we wait for this game to kick off. What's your opinion on the Tyler Roberts situation? It's been mentioned again today that Derby, do you know what, right? I do think he should go out on loan, and I think he would benefit from a loan personally. The fact that Sam Greenwood's been told he's staying at the club maybe makes me think we might start to see some more of him. And if that's the case, then does that mean Tyler's further out of the pecking order? I'm not sure. What I am surprised is, though, to see Derby. I prefer him to go higher up the championship table, if I'm being totally honest. What's your opinion, mate?
I think the only advantage of going to Derby is that, as much as I hate to say it, the person he'd be working under, Wayne Rooney, is probably one of those people you think, okay, if he doesn't take example from what Wayne Rooney did off the pitch, that's okay. But if he takes example from what Wayne Rooney did on the pitch, and in that kind of mentality, then that's quite a good fit. But
we don't want him rocking up, going through grannies in Leeds, do we?
That's the thing. I mean, just in case any libel is ready here, it's just rumours. It's just rumours, isn't it?
Well, it wasn't rumours. It wasn't rumours.
We can say it, can't we? We can say it. Yeah. We don't want that. We don't want that. We don't want that from Tyler. It's up to him. If he wants to, but just make sure you're not secretive about it like a certain Wayne Rooney. Right. For me, Huddersfield's the one I want to go to. Huddersfield or higher. Huddersfield mid-table. You think if Tyler Roberts went there, he'd probably push him in towards the top 6, you'd imagine, under Corberan. It'd be quite a good, understanding there. The one positive I'm taking from Tyler Roberts at the minute is, and it might be cursing things here, but he's not actually been injured for a while, and that's a good sign for me. In terms of how many times was it where he kind of got into the team, got
Is
injured?
that not because he's
Is
maybe
he past
not?
that? I don't know. Or is it just because he's
games though at high intensity? I know he's playing under 23s, but is it the same intensity as
there's that
for the first team? But yeah, you make a great point. Another one that was I agree with Philip here that I do think we should.
I think it's got to happen. I mean, I wouldn't be looking at the reason I wouldn't look to do it permanently is because at the minute,
he's
if we're deciding, that's the thing.
Yeah.
He's a talent. He's still only 20. Is he 22 in this month? I think he's 22. And then B, if we're going to sell him now, you're not going to get the maximum value for him because he's not played well for 6 months. If you're going to do it, and we are deciding he's not good enough, which let's be honest, maybe he isn't. I'm admitting that now. Maybe he isn't good enough.
At this level, I think it's a push, isn't it? I
still think the potential's there. I think you've seen with any kind of younger striker at this level, it's took a while to adapt. I mean, look, you might think this is a crazy comparison, but Calvert-Lewin, he took ages. He's been in this league for 4 or 5 years, came in at a similar age to Tyler, and the thing is, he's not had a consistent run of games. I can make all the excuses in the world for Tyler Roberts, but at the end of the day, he's not done enough in the minutes he's had on the pitch and doesn't look quite ready for this step up yet in terms of the step up in quality. So for me, you put him out on loan, and then if we decide in the summer, okay, we're seeing Tyler Roberts go out on loan to the Championship, we decided he's probably not for us now, or we probably need to try and move him on, and let him continue with his career. You're going to get a much bigger fee in that sense. You're not going to get a big fee from him now. What if you went to Derby and said, no, we're not going to loan him to you, buy him off us? What kind of fee? I don't actually know what valuation I could give with Tyler Roberts. In the summer, you could probably have been saying above 10 million because in terms of his age. But now I'm looking at him thinking, I don't really know what I would probably value him at. To be honest, it's a difficult one. But I wouldn't be looking to sell permanently. I don't think, to be honest, I've said it before, the only person I'd be looking to sell permanently is our second choice goalkeeper. I don't think there's anyone else who I'm looking at and thinking they're just not good enough. I think everyone else in the squad, has shown enough. Again, I think even Johnny Alioski was probably the closest to that kind of borderline kind of thing. But for me, he's done well last two or three games. And then we got a bit of blame for the Tottenham game, but I thought he was all right in that game, to be honest. Really lucky at the penalty. I can't think of anything he's done desperately wrong. And the fact that Spurs fans, after that game against Bergwijn, were absolutely giving an absolute hammer after that game, Bergwijn. And you think Bergwijn was up against Alioski, which suggests he did a decent job, in that sense. He did a decent job on him. But I don't know. I get a bit carried away there. I don't know what I'm kind of going at there. But the general thing is, I don't think there's anyone other than Tyler I'm looking at right now at this moment in time. Maybe possibly Leif Davis, depending on if he plays against Crawley. But again, I still like to keep Leif Davis around because I think left back wise we are short on numbers, and I think he's got that quality. But for me, Tyler Roberts is that player I look at this moment in time. In terms of outgoings, he's probably near the top of the list for me at the moment.
Yeah. I agree, mate. Ben Whitehead said, would you take Tomori on loan for the rest of the season? So I've seen this, and of course I would take Tomori. I would. However, I don't see it happening, and I think Graham Smith's come out and said they've spoke to the club and they've confirmed it's not going to happen. Would I take him? Yes. The only thing that leads me, and I put this on Twitter earlier on, is I can't see Bielsa sanctioning a deal on that, because we know with Bielsa, if he can't guarantee you game time, he won't keep you at the football club, regardless of who you are, regardless of how good you are. And I just think fully fit team, then Tomori might be better than what we already have, and Tomori might be a starter. But what that then means is the players that we've got then don't get time in the team. And we know Bielsa's pretty big on saying, look, if you're not going to get game time, then there's no point in you being here. And that's why he likes a small squad. So, yes, I would take Tomori, but I can't see it happening. What about yourself, Oscar?
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting one, isn't it, Tomori? I think, obviously, last season at Chelsea, he was really starting to get up the pecking order. And, of course, Lampard, who, as we all know, has a lot of faith in the youth, that much faith in the youth that he decided that rather than trust Tammy Abraham, he spent about 180 million on the strike force and start to go back to Tammy Abraham a couple of months later and just say, "Oh, sorry about that, mate. Can you now step up for me?" And that's just what Lampard's had to do, really. But for me, Tomori was probably their first choice. Before the sign Thiago Silva, he was very much in that high up that pecking order, and obviously he had him at Derby as well. So something, I don't know, is something off the pitch maybe happened there between those two? I'm just speculating.
He was close to going to West Ham, weren't he? And then he vetoed it later on. I
think Corey was saying that about the Tomori link, and they went for, I can't remember who they got in the end. They did get someone, didn't they, on loan? I can't remember who it was. Someone will probably say in the comments, but I look at it in terms of Tomori. I think in terms of talent, there's definitely talent there. I think we saw that season when it was us and Derby kind of going head to head. He had some really good games against us. I think obviously that game, I hate to go back to it, that game at Ellen Road that they obviously won, he was really good in that game. I can't lie, he was really good in that game. And to be fair, he held that Derby back four together. He's alongside Richard Keogh. Again, not a lot of talent in that Derby back four, but he really held it together that season, to be honest. And I think a lot of Derby fans said he was probably, him and Mount and Wilson were the best three players. And obviously they all went, and they're absolutely in a lot of trouble now.
I think they're in. Are they still? To be honest, I don't take much.
I think they've climbed out a little bit. I think Rooney's actually got a couple of results out of nothing too drastic, but I think they are about 18, 19. I've not, mate. I think
it's safe to say they're probably going to lose at the weekend. I don't know if you've seen Derby have been ravaged with COVID, and they're having to play a mixture of development and under 23s in the FA Cup game because they can't put out a first team. I seen that earlier on.
Who have you got?
I'm not sure, mate, to be honest. I don't know. Stephen Mayer says, just to remind you guys, there are no replays in the FA Cup this year when the draw is made on Monday. They are drawing not only the fourth, but the fifth round as well, which I didn't realise.
Let's see. Is there any need for that to do the fifth round at the same time? I don't know. Is that kind of takes the excitement away? Sometimes, when Leeds were down there in that lot and won a big cup, I remember that obviously January the 3rd, thinking straight away, I was thinking, God, who have we got next here? Who have we got next? And then obviously we've got Tottenham, and went to that one as well. And that was, that was an interesting one as well, wasn't it? I mean, but it kind of spoils it a bit, But again, it kind of gives you that extra incentive. If we did beat Crawley and then we found out, okay, if we win the next game, we then got City, Chelsea, someone like that, it kind of gives you that little bit more incentive then. I don't know. It's an interesting one, but I don't really get why they're doing it, to be honest. But Tomori, though, I think, you look at him and think he probably would be better than possibly what we've got, other than Robin Koch. I still say Robin Koch, for me, is numero uno for me. I think he is number one for me at this moment in time. But I think in terms of alongside him, there's a lot of competition now. You've got Struick, Luke Ayling is showing what he can do at centre-back. Llorente, Cooper, I don't know.
It'd be interesting to see.
Then you think you've got four names there before you even talking about Tomori. So is that all of a sudden, is that too many centre-backs when Llorente comes back fit? It's kind of like
I still think, Oscar, I think the 18 million was a bit of a waste. I know we've not seen, because if we'd have signed Gvardiol for 18 million, he's a young lad, up and coming. We were speaking about it the other day. And he's gone to Leipzig and probably will go on. I know he's mooted to be a great talent. I don't know what he's doing at Leipzig, to be honest. So he might have gone down there and been poor. I'm not sure, but I think if you're paying 18 million for someone that's up and coming, fair enough. But when it's Llorente at the back end of his career, I don't know if they maybe look at that and think maybe we could have saved that 18 million. Maybe I'm not sure what you think.
Well, I think just looking at Gvardiol, since he left Zagreb, he's gone to Leipzig, got loans back again. So that kind of tells me that Leipzig, obviously I know Leipzig are a bit higher up than us in terms of the development. The centre-backs they've got at the club are like world class, and that's probably the part of the reason they got Gvardiol, to kind of cover him when they have to sell people like Yupa Meccano and that lot to, obviously United have been linked with him, to be fair. So it's a tough one in that sense. But I don't know. I look at it and think I didn't see him enough to know how good he was, to be fair. But all I can go off is what people who watch him have said. They've said, I think they've said to us on the channel as well. I remember in the live comments, saying that this Gvardiol's an incredible talent. So maybe we have lost out. But I guess it'll only really be time that kind of tells us that. I think Llorente, in terms of that game he played against Chelsea, I thought he looked all right, to be fair. He's just. The trouble is, it's no good how good Llorente is at this moment in time. If you can't get on the pitch, it's irrelevant how good he is. Exactly. And that's the big thing. There's how many players we have like that who, I've just had that horrible visions back to Izzy Brown. In terms of clearly the talent was there,
Yeah,
but
it was.
just
Yeah,
couldn't get himself fit, and maybe it could have been the difference in that first season. But
definitely.
we've seen it before. With players we got, in terms of just being injured straight away. Adam Forshaw, people like that. They're good players. There's no doubt they're good players, but if they're not on the pitch,
it'd be ideal if we had Forshaw, wouldn't it? Now I don't think we'd
right now. Yeah, perfect.
as many goals as we have done. To be fair, the game's just kicked off now, guys. For those that are watching the game, we will be chatting about the game and obviously Leeds United as well. So get your questions in. Someone asked
very well dressed tonight, as always. I was always looking dapper.
KDB looking for a searching ball. Oh, it's beauty ball, that isn't it?
What do you reckon then, prediction wise, mate? What are you saying for this? I'm thinking City, but quite a lot closer than the Chelsea game.
Yeah, see, City turned it on against Chelsea, didn't they? They seem to have stepped it up a gear of late. I know they didn't have the best start to the Premier League, but then again, Man United have been on quite a run, haven't they? Let's be honest. If they win the game, I genuinely was like, there is no title race, and then Liverpool just keep faltering, and I'm like, bloody hell, Man United could go top if they win the game in hand, so they have to be taken seriously. And do you know what?
Well, they go 3 points clear if they win that game. If they get anything from that game in hand, they do go clear. So, it's obviously, you look at that City team. Obviously, you got Fernandinho's coming for this game. Proper battler for a game like this. Diaz has been really good for him. John Stones
both of them have been great, haven't they? Stones and Diaz.
Superb. I mean, John Stones is proven that he is probably the best English centre back. Well, it's definitely the best English centre back out there. So there's a lot of interesting battles there. I think obviously Fernandes, De Bruyne's, that's got to be the one, hasn't it? Though in that sense, it's got to be.
Who you taking if you could pick either?
De Bruyne for me. I still. It is hard. I think on current form, you probably make the argument for Fernandes in terms of the last couple of weeks, but I think De Bruyne, when
Rashford's in here, it's a good save. Oh, it's an own goal. I think he's offside, to be fair.
I think I'm a bit behind you here, mate. What minute are you on?
I'm on 149. To be fair, I thought it was offside when Rashford was put through by Martial, to be fair.
Can you pause yours, mate? I'm a bit off yours
here. Yeah, he is offside, to be fair. It was a bit calamitous because it comes off Stefan, the keeper, and off Stones, I think.
Yeah, is Henderson injured then? It must be.
I don't know if he's got COVID because Stefan played the last game as well.
Yeah, he did. All right, to be fair.
American, isn't he? You don't see many. Well, you don't really in the Premier League. What, Dempsey, Friedel, Landon Donovan? I think that's about it.
Not many at all.
I'll stop at 2:30, mate.
2:30, no worries at all. Yeah, I'm just catching up with that instant now. But I mean, looking at that City bench, there's a lot of options there, isn't there? You've got Jesus, Aguero, Jesus and Aguero on the bench. That's not bad, is it? You know what I mean? You're almost saying to Pep, why aren't you starting one of them? But look, it worked for him against Chelsea. You can see why he's kept the same team. And obviously, even Scum have to be fair. Obviously Greenwood, Mata, decent, not quite the same standard though. But I mean, it's just a good matchup, this, really, I think.
Where are you at?
Just on 2:20.
Bloody hell, you were miles away, weren't you? Watching on Sky Go?
Yeah, I'll be with you in a second. 27, 28, 29, 30.
There we go.
We are in sync. Yeah, I reckon about 2-1. 2:38.
I don't know why, but it shot me straight up to 2:36. 2:42, 2:43.
2:48.
Oh, God.
50, 51.
Right, that'll do us. I'm on 53, 54.
Yeah, that's fine. We're there.
Yeah, that'll do us, won't it? My Lord Dent said, do you guys think it's arrogant to think about European football where a couple of results went differently, we would be top 5? I still have a sneaky suspicion, mate, that we could maybe just miss out, but definitely challenge over the course of the season, not for Champions League, obviously, but do you think it's out of that? Do you think there's no chance of that? I've still got a suspicion that we might, because if we keep winning the games against the lesser sides, we will start to pick up results against some of the top 6 sides. I genuinely think that. I think, at the minute, it feels from an opposition perspective that whenever we come up against a top 6 side, they're probably just going, they're going to get beat. And it's doing my head in a little bit because I've seen a few people like really have a go at Leeds, and it's frustrating because we're a newly promoted side, and people are like the guys at 90minute.com the other day were saying Bielsa's the most overrated manager in football. Boothie likened it to Blackpool in Ian.
Yeah, I saw that Ian Holloway.
Mate, I'm back on tomorrow, Oscar.
Get me on now. Get me on. Yeah. You're on the phone. You're on the phone to him. You're on the phone to him. Get me on now.
Yeah, no. So I got a message today saying, "Are you free tomorrow?" I was like, "Yes," because some of the stuff, like Flav said, it was the worst. Oh, they're in. Is that a goal?
Is that a goal?
Gundogan.
The ball off Foden into Gundogan. Oh, it's offside. It's offside. It's a lovely bit of movement off City now on the side.
Gundogan's got on the score sheet the last few, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he was superb against Chelsea, you know. Absolutely superb. He was
checking it here anyway. Let's have a look.
Yeah.
Is he just... I think he has his miles, isn't he, really?
Yeah,
his miles.
You don't often see him that high up the pitch, though, to be fair, but brilliant off Foden to pick him out. You know, I think obviously it's good to see Foden doing well.
I tell you what, though, it's a good start. 2 goals in the first 5 minutes. I know they're offside, but it's
not going to be a tight one, is it? It's going to be very open. I think both teams are going to press and try. And it's all about the individuals as well. You know, Rashford, Fernandes versus Sterling, De Bruyne. You know, I think obviously City have that little bit more quality and a little bit more tactical nous as such. But you know, when you're playing this kind of team, you know what, they can turn it on at any moment. But I still think City probably 2-1 or something like that. I think.
Would you make obviously as it currently stands? Do you think that Man United are in a title race? Do you think,
I think
or are we going to be due a couple of poor results from them? Or do you think that's done now and Solskjaer's finally getting a tune out of them?
I don't. The thing is, and when I say this, if there is any Man United fans watching here, I know exactly what they'll say in the comments. But I'm yet to see a.
Other on the break, Rashford running into space. Rashford.
I think you've got to say they are because they're top of the table and could go 3 points clear, you know, if they win the game in hand. And the way they're playing, well, the form they're in at the moment, you say they probably are going to win that game in hand. But that Villa game, that's a very, very even game. Very, very lucky to win that game. And obviously Wolves won in the last minute. They're not, other than us, ironically, they're not really seriously blowing teams away. And I think that's what a lot of Man United fans I know have kind of said. You know, they don't really think they're in a title race. They just think that with the players they got, they'll probably finish top 3. You know, and probably closer to Man City and Liverpool than, you know, the last couple of teams have done. But I just think that's the thing. I've never really looked at them and thought, you know, when you saw City against Chelsea the other night and thought, wow, that's like a statement performance. And obviously Liverpool early on in the season, you know, you thought, I don't know if that Man United team's got the capability to deliver a performance like that. And I think that's what sometimes you need as a title winning team. So I think they'll finish higher than Chelsea, Tottenham and Arsenal, Leicester for me. So I think they'll still be top 3, but I still think in the next couple of weeks, I do genuinely think it'll start to calm down. I think City at the moment of the team I probably fancy the most to win it. I think the fact is they've got to where they are at the minute without Aguero and Jesus. They've got them to come back in.
Obviously, they've got a lot of games. January, Oscar, or wait for the summer?
It's a hard one because they've got the 2-1s going straight back in. So it's a hard one. You kind of say all of a sudden you've got 3 strikers then to play with, and it's a hard one for City because they only play one up top. So I don't expect it, but I do think they're going to get one in the summer. You know, I think Aguero is probably his last season in England, you'd imagine. You think Haaland, I think obviously Kane's been mentioned, but for me, I'd be looking at
90 million, which I think they've not got a chance at 90 million. No. Surely Daniel Levy would laugh them off the other end of the phone. Definitely. Just for a soft Southern B, he says you're slipping. You've referred to scum as Man United 3 times in a row. My apologies. I'll sort that out.
That team, I'm going to refer that team.
That's what
that team. I tell you what, that team.
McTominay trying Paul Scholes. That's a nice little knock. Good save. Good save, Stefan.
It's a good strike off Fernandes, to be fair, but really, really good game this so far.
Yeah.
The cheap giveaway here, and then obviously McTominay picks it up.
It's a good little pass, to be fair, into Bruno.
Yeah, it is. Oh, it's a good save, that.
Yeah, it is a good save.
Very, yes. It's, in terms of as start to games go, you know, you can just tell what this kind of game's going to be, really. I think, But yeah, you'd imagine 90 million. It's going to take more than that. But for me, I might be controversial there, but I'd probably go Son before Kane. I think look at Kane. He's still got that injury record. Kane. That's the only thing that kind of works against him a little bit in terms of big fees. Every season Kane's going to be out for 2 or 3 months at one point, and that it kind of happens every single year, doesn't it? And there's no doubt Kane goes to Man City. It's a really, really good deal. But I'd still probably say Son out of the two. I think he's probably one of those. He's a bit more versatile. You can play him anywhere across like the front 3, front 4. He's got that versatility. And I think for me, in that game between Tottenham and Leeds, I thought Son was the man, to be fair. I think Kane, obviously, that bit of work he did for the second goal was absolutely unbelievable. But for me, Son was the one who really, when he got on the ball, you just, it was horrendous, wasn't it? But, it's one of those games you're happy to get out of the way.
Oh, he's a good battle. Look, Bruno and De Bruyne. De Bruyne's picked out a pass, but
tell you what, it's a bad decision off Wan-Bissaka. He's got away with it. I thought he was messing around with it there, but you'd imagine on this side though, Mahrez against Luke Shaw, this should be where City get a bit of joy, but wouldn't you have thought?
That's a terrible dive from Pogba. I'm not a fan of Paul Pogba in any capacity whatsoever. If I'm being totally...
He's one of those players for me, Pogba. I don't think he can say he's got world-class ability, but that doesn't make him a world-class player. For me, a world-class player is someone who's got to produce world-class performances more times than he doesn't. And for me, you've got to say, how many times has Pogba really done that at Man United? I can't think of any trophies, kind of won them on his own or anything like that. I think, look, he's got unbelievable ability, but that doesn't really mean a lot. There's a lot of players out there who have unbelievable ability. It doesn't mean that Mesut Ozil's got unbelievable ability. It doesn't mean he's a world-class player anymore. And I think he's very similar to Ozil in that sense. It's kind of like, I tell you what,
Gundogan. He's tried to play it into Mahrez, but
if you call him Paul Pogba world class right now, I think the bar is very low. To be honest, I think there's at least 5 or 6, 7, 8 other midfielders you could say are world class if Pogba's world class in that sense. So I mean, I think Fernandes. You look at him, he's the far more effective player, isn't he?
Yeah,
simple as that.
It's a one-man team. If you take him out of this side, it's chalk and cheese, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the thing. Man United have actually looked better without Pogba this season. You'd never be able to say that about Fernandes. And to be fair, it's a nice little ball around the corner there into Shaw.
Bruno,
a little run here. Ooh,
it's gone behind. Can Rashford in? No. Zinchenko. Foden.
Yeah, I think both left backs are probably the weak links in both teams. In terms of Zinchenko and Shaw.
You're definitely not a fan of Mr. Luke Shaw, are you, Oscar?
It's one of them. I don't know if I may have been a bit harsh, but
up against Shaw, into De Bruyne. Have a go, De Bruyne. Oh, it's off the post.
God, he's hit that, hasn't he?
Far too much time to have a go there. Good work.
He's caught that perfect, hasn't he?
Yeah. Well, the 4 there, they're giving him far too much time on the edge of the box, off the post by KDB.
Well, that's an effort each, isn't it, off Fernandes and De Bruyne now? I think that's the best so far, isn't it?
Yep.
I think City's starting to grow into this now, really.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that man Diaz down there, I mean, he's made some difference, hasn't he, to that back line? Yeah. I think the fact Laporte was seen as their star centre-back, he can't even get in the team now. I think, to be honest, if Leeds are looking at centre-backs, we all know how much Bielsa and Laporte get on, and Mendy, maybe have a bit of a word, never know.
Oh, that's good football, Martial. No way, get on your feet. Get on your feet.
This is another player, I think, for me, Anthony Martial. I think I don't know.
He's so overrated. He's so overrated. Like,
Rashford, is he, for me? He's not at that level.
Expensive teenager once upon a time, and I just don't think he has warranted anywhere close to that figure. He's obviously got potential, but what's he done, really?
Yeah. That's the thing. I think it's the same with Pogba. Having all this ability means nothing if you don't produce it on the pitch. And for me, I can't really think of, even against us, Martial, did he really, was it really him who caused all the problems? Or was it Rashford and Fernandes? For me, it's got to be Rashford and Fernandes who really hurt us. I don't think Martial, I'll be honest, I didn't really notice him in that game. And obviously Pogba didn't play. So they're kind of the same, in that kind of sense, both being massive. And you look at how much money they've spent, you look at players like that, but I don't know.
First half possession there, 72% Man
dominating, aren't they, really?
Sorry, 28% to the Scum.
I'll tell you what, I like Steffen on the ball. I like he looks really calm on the ball as well, to be fair. But yeah, City are definitely growing into it. Look at that for a ball.
Shaw's got there, though, Zinchenko, but Sterling's going to mop it up. Cancelo.
I thought the ref had blown up then.
Cancelo.
I don't know. What do you think, mate? Do you think
City? I remember when they bought like Danilo and stuff like that, and it just never worked out, did it?
No, they spend a lot on fullbacks, but I think Cancelo's one I really like, to be fair. I think he looked really good against Chelsea, and obviously he's had that experience at Juventus. But I don't know. I think looking at City at the minute, I think they're kind of like rebuilt really well, to be honest. Oh, what a ball that is!
Cut back, Gundogan. Oh, McTominay just gets in front. Yeah, did well, Cancelo there, to be fair.
Yeah, I think looking at City starting 11, it looks really good.
Mahrez, that's great. Fernandinho. There's nowhere for him to go, is there? Cancelo back to Fernandinho. John Stones, bit of a poor touch there.
Foden again. Foden's doing well on this one.
Yeah. Good player, isn't he?
Oh, brilliant player. I mean, it's just madness. It took so long for him to get kind of like fitting into the team, isn't it? It's crazy, really. I mean, you got a player like that and you're just messing around getting him in. But I guess it's proven to be the right decision, I guess, in terms of just gradually moving him into
right, I guess. Because if it was up to fans, I'm assuming, Martial, can he get the run on Zinchenko?
Done well there, Stones.
Stones. That was the Englishman in him there. Get shot. I'm telling you, if that's any of our centre-backs, they're probably trying to take it round him.
Well, I think if that's John Stones last year, I think he probably tries to take him on there and loses the ball. I think that's probably a bit of... I know it's not the nicest to watch, but he's shown a bit of maturity there, to be fair, that you probably wouldn't have seen John Stones before. That's a poor ball from Shaw, I might add. Oh, that's an equally poor ball.
Oh, he's done well there, Martial. Rashford.
Ooh.
Wasn't wise to it. Nearly fell
Definitely there. Definitely a goal coming here, though, isn't there?
Yeah, it's pretty open, isn't it?
10 minutes or so. Oh, he's done poor there, Wan-Bissaka, and he's just dived in.
Definite foul there. I'd be carding him for that as well. Blatant. Get a card out, ref. One biscuits.
Get some questions in, guys. Get some questions in. Get some questions in. Yeah.
What did you make this? Did you see? Sorry. Did you see Adrian Durham speaking on TalkSport about Leeds? He was quite glowing, to be fair. He was quite angry about it, the fact that everyone kept saying that they need to do better against top six sides.
Yeah, I mean, we need to do better against top six sides. I mean, people are forgetting, like 3 months ago, we produced, and I quote from Gary Neville, the best game of Premier League football that he's seen in the last 10 years. Yeah. And I had to agree with that. I think it was an unbelievable game against City that if it hadn't been for Edison, we would have won, quite simply. We would have won that game. So I don't think you can say, just from that basis, and the fact we almost got something at Liverpool, the fact, what even is a top six at the minute? What kind of guidelines we're using? People forgetting we almost beat Arsenal as well. It's, I don't know. I think I can guarantee you there's teams in this league, mate, that will have worse records against the top six than us. But they won't be getting the same attention. What's Brighton's record against the top six like? I can't imagine that being too great. I mean, what's Palace's record against the top six like?
It's just because they don't get spanked. But this is the point. Like, people talk about, West Brom, for example. Let's look at case in point West Brom. They picked up a point against Liverpool, and everyone's like, yeah, that's what he does. But then they've conceded like 12 goals since. Like, and it's like, I would rather do what we're doing, get the odd spanking. But
the thing is, the Leeds game, they'd have probably got less praise if they got hammered by Liverpool and then beat us because they got hammered by Liverpool. That's how mad it is. But they'd have had 2 extra points. And I'm sure they'd have preferred to have beaten us than they just get a point at Liverpool. It makes no sense to me. I don't get it. This theory that if you get a point at a top 6 side, all of a sudden it's a masterclass. I don't get it, me. I just think you've always got to go to games and try to win or play to your team's strengths. You can't tell me that West Brom with Pereira, Dean Garner, I was trying to think who they signed from Huddersfield, Grant up top, Gallagher, that they're best suited to playing defensively. A long ball. It's not their game. It's not their game. You saw it last season. Just play football, and you probably get more results just doing it that way. And it's a lot better to watch. I don't see what's so hard for sections of the media to understand about that. Oh, this is nice.
I've seen good little touch by Gundogan into Sterling. He's giving him back. Yeah, started well, Gundogan. To be fair,
Foden's causing Wan-Bissaka night. Look how far Wan-Bissaka's had to come inside there.
KDB. It's a nice little thing. He's going to fall to Foden. Oh, he's looking for
looking there,
looking for the pen there, trying to get round Maguire, looking for that leg.
Yeah.
Bruno. No runner though. Pogba. Yeah, I know what you're saying. It's frustrating. I've seen West Brom apparently are signing Robert Snodgrass. I don't know if you've seen that.
No, I've not seen that, to be fair.
Yeah.
Again, I mean, look, I love Snods, but is that what they need, though? I don't know. Is that Pereira and Dean Garner? That's probably good enough. I mean, do not need another backup striker or a number 10 or a defender. They probably need a defender more than anything at the moment in time. You're looking at a Jair side. That back four is pretty terrible, if I'm being honest. I don't know if you saw any of that Arsenal game, mate, but I caught the last sort of 20 minutes and they were already 4 down, but it could have been 6 or 7 by the end. I mean, Lacazette was just walking past, their defence and that lot, and he's a supposedly out of form player. So I think you look at that bottom 3 at the minute, mate, and it's hard to see how certain teams get out of it. How on earth are West Brom getting out of it? Sheffield United, but then Fulham even. It's almost like it's not going to be that good. In terms of that dramatic, really. I think they're all going to be kind of cut adrift towards the end of the season, to be honest.
Yeah, Jay Michaels has said, are you guys just not going to interact with your audience? What's your question, Jay? Get it in. We'll answer it. That's not a question, so can't answer that.
There's been a couple of things here about Struijk. Questions if Struijk is overrated.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's an interesting one because obviously the way we've been talking about him since the last couple of games, he has played really well. But I don't see it as being like Struijk overrated as such. I think it's just he did better than what we were expecting. In the sense that I never expected when Struijk came into the team that 3 games later we'd be talking about him replacing Liam Cooper long term. I didn't think that was going to be the case. I always thought he had talent, but I didn't think he was going to produce the performances he did against West Brom and Burnley. I didn't see that at all.
Would struggle to get back in. Just saying.
To be fair, you did actually. You did, to be fair, mate. But
what do you make about the Eddie thing? I discussed this yesterday with the lads that we had on, Mitchell and Scott and Lou. I think it's really strange to I mean, he ain't going to come to Leeds. I don't know. It's not going to happen. I don't think it suits our system anyway. It would be a waste of money, personally. But are you surprised that Arsenal are looking to offload him?
I think Big Lou made a good point, in terms of you look at Aubameyang's form at the minute and you think, hang on a minute, and Nketiah is kind of is the scapegoat in a sense. He's played a lot better than Aubameyang, in all honesty, and I think Aubameyang's world class on his day, and he's world class, to be fair. But you look at it and think, if Lacazette got injured, what are Arsenal doing? Especially for the fee mentioned, was it 10, 15 million?
Yeah,
That's nothing to Arsenal. Arsenal can afford to just keep him at the club just as an option off the bench, because we've seen what Eddie can do off the bench. He scored a couple of goals from off the bench as well. But I don't know, if I'm looking at that as a Fulham, a Sheffield United, a West Brom, a Brighton, definitely a Brighton, you're thinking 10, 15 million for someone who's 20, 21. You've got to go for that. You've got to take the risk, haven't you? Surely, he can score goals. He's a proper poacher. He scores goals for any team. For England, Arsenal, Leeds, it's a no-brainer. So for me, I think Arsenal might go on to regret that. You look at Lacazette and Aubameyang aren't exactly young either, are they? They're not exactly going to be saleable assets in 2 or 3 years' time. So I think they're mad, to be honest. I think they're mad. But I think Wolves were one of the teams linked, weren't they? In terms of trying to find a backup.
Gordon's in.
Broden's made it 1-0.
He's Meg Dean Henderson on his Old Trafford debut. Phil Foden has made.
Why is he not celebrating? Is it definitely a goal? No, it's not. He's offside. I was thinking, why is he not celebrating? But he did Megs him, didn't he?
Yeah.
It's all about composure. Yeah, it's a lovely finish. But yeah, he's miles. I thought it was weird. He wasn't going mad, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't take Eddie back though in terms of what we need at the minute. In terms of our budget and what we need to spend money on.
Suited to us.
We saw that when he started games for us. I'm thinking West Brom away, Birmingham away. He wasn't great, to be honest, when he started the games, and we all wanted him to start games. At the time, Bamford wasn't in form. 99% of the Leeds fan base wanted to see Eddie in the team, and he just never did it. And that's not just because Eddie's not good enough. It's just because he's not ready for a system like ours, I don't think. And maybe that's what's happened to Arsenal, I guess.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it is. You're right. Philip Anderson said he would fit into our system perfectly. If you're talking about Eddie Nketiah, he wouldn't, and he didn't. We've seen that. Obviously, football's a game of opinions, but there's a reason. I remember the West Brom game, the last game he played, where Bielsa started him, and he was pretty woeful. And
he was hooked up to 45 minutes, wasn't he?
Patrick Bamford came on and saved us a point. He scored within a couple of minutes and was great in the second half. So I don't see Eddie coming back. It's a non-mover, but I don't think he suits us either. Personally, if I could, I don't know. I'd look at someone like a Giroud. That'd be what we need, man. I'd love Giroud.
I think Giroud, though, you look at and think I think the issue of a Giroud would be wages, and I think he'd have a lot of Europe's elite looking at him. I think.
No, I'm not saying that's the thing. But I think for me personally, if I was looking at anyone in the Premier League who, I know Bamford's been amazing and that, but say like the header, for example, against Spurs, Giroud scores that. So that's the type of striker I think we're better suited to as opposed to someone like Eddie. I might be wrong though, because my opinions aren't always right.
No, I agree. I think someone who's not necessarily full of pace, but someone who can link the play together and has got a lot of a very cultured style about him. Giroud is just like everything he does is just really, really good, isn't it? It's not really like he's not a scrappy striker at all. It's just everything's got a bit of class to it, hasn't it? With Giroud, to be fair, and Bamford's a bit like that as well, to be fair. But I think obviously Giroud, just because of the clubs he's played for, that's the thing. He's played for the top clubs and won a lot. He's won the World Cup as well, and being France's main centre forward. So he got a lot of stick, didn't when he was at Arsenal. He never kind of got appreciated at Arsenal. He was kind of like he was always seen as part of the problem. But
do you not think, like Dale says here, he is so underrated?
Massively underrated. The fact of the matter is, he links up play, he scores goals, and he just does a bit of everything. I think with Raul Jimenez out injured, you probably, for me, he's the best target man in England at the moment. At this moment in time,
from the front, Oscar, and he did against us. I thought he was fantastic against us. Giroud,
brilliant.
It was brilliant against us, and he did press from the front in that game.
The only thing is with Giroud is one game a week. I think that's all he can do now. I think obviously it's him and Abraham are kind of like swapping, week after week, and both.
Abraham would do it as well, wouldn't he? Abraham would be.
But the trouble is, Abraham just I think the time for Abraham was when he was at Villa. I think in terms of getting him there and then, but I think now you're talking, ridiculous money now, and fairly ridiculous money because he's young, scores goals, and top player really, and that's probably the type of player that if he did move, he'd move to even higher than Chelsea, wouldn't he, at this moment in time? But they might give us Werner though. They might give us Werner, but Werner won't get in our team, to be honest.
The Adama Traore one, surely is a non-mover as well.
I can't see us going for a winger, to be honest. I think that's you've seen Rafinha just come in, right winger. Traore's a right winger. We've already got Costa Paveda there. I can't see it, to be honest, mate. I can't see it. But the only thing you could say about Traore is that he can play wing back and that might be something that you can sell about him. But so can a lot of our players. If we're talking big money here, I think Traore's got a lot of potential in terms of when he's on it, he is something else, to be fair. I remember that Borough game when I think it was Heckingbottom was in charge and we just got battered, and Traore was just
Yeah, it was. Didn't he assist all of Patrick Bamford's goals?
That's right. Yeah, I remember that game. It was, but I think it was Vernon Manita.
What you say?
I think it was Vernon Manita who was at left back, and he retired him basically. It was horrific to watch as a Leeds fan. But to be fair, you look at that and think Bielsa could get that level out of him. But if you're going to sign Traore, surely you got to be talking 20, 25 mil, something like that in terms of his age. Is that worth it for us when we can get other players who we need more? I don't think it is.
And it's not terrible though, as well, in terms of goals and assists. I think they're absolutely shocking, aren't they? I don't think
his numbers aren't great, to be fair, are they? I think certainly in terms of goals, he didn't get many goals, but I still think Bielsa could get something out of him. But in terms of what we've already got, is he that big an improvement to justify spending 25 mil on? I don't think he is, to be honest. I'd probably rather. I mean, the other thing is as well, obviously the main target everyone's been talking about is Rodrigo de Paul, but Udinese being so clear that they're not going to sell him. And
I think Juve and Inter Milan want him as well, mate.
Yeah, that's the trouble though. You got Conte, Pirlo, managers like that coming after him in title races. It's a tough one, but I think if he was to leave, you'd imagine, Juventus and Inter Milan have got more money than us. It's simple facts. Inter Milan, their own spend ridiculous money at the minute.
Ray has said, what do you reckon about our chances in the FA Cup? And someone said, a few people have mentioned the FA Cup as well. Let me just find. Duncan Hamilton says, hi guys, how many under 23s are you expecting to play on Sunday? Should we do a bit of a lineup, Oscar? And have a little bit of chat? I think goalkeeper is going to be Kiko, isn't it?
I mean, it will be, but I don't know. I'm still thinking, would I go someone different? Would I give Caprilla a go? I don't know.
I don't think he will.
He won't know. It will be Casilla. It will definitely be Casilla, I think.
Right back, Jamie Shack? Or do we keep Dallas for a bit of experience?
I mean, there's even been mention of Cody Drama as well, who's supposedly looking like Luke Aylin's future successor. And I think obviously I've seen one game from him and he looked good in it, but you'd imagine Shaxx. You'd imagine the fact that I'd have thought so. Shaxx will definitely play. Definitely play against Crawley. It's a fact of will he play right back? Will he play centre mid? Yeah. He will definitely play either way. So I think
Shaxx, yeah. I think centre back. I'm thinking Charlie Creswell and Luke Ayling. I think he'll keep Luke Ayling in just for that bit of experience, captain while Cooper's out alongside Creswell. I don't know. What do you think?
Possibly, yeah. I think there will be some senior players. I don't think you'll just lead. Certainly after what happened against Hull, in terms of what happened in that game, which was a horror show, to be honest. I know it didn't matter because we weren't bothered about the League Cup at that stage. But when you look back at it now, I'm thinking, because I don't know who Hull got after. Hull had quite a favourable run after that, in terms of games we had. And I remember looking at it and thinking, if maybe we'd have known that we could have afforded to take that game a bit more seriously, we could have had a bit of a run there. You saw Brentford get to the semi-final. I'm not disrespecting Brentford, but the opportunity was there for us as well. So I'd imagine it will be a senior player at centre-back along. Probably it will be, yeah.
Because if you're going to say Strat, he's not really a senior player, so I think it will be Luke Ayling.
I think, probably will be Ayling. Or maybe Dallas, we're able to write back and something like. I think Ayling or Dallas will captain us. I've got that feeling, but I'll say Ayling. Yeah, I'll go with you. I think Ayling, Creswell, maybe Casey.
Casey.
He played in that Hull game, didn't he? I think Creswell though.
I think Creswell. It depends though as well, doesn't it? How many? I don't know much about Crawley. League Two, they might just play 4-4-2. That's no disrespect to League Two teams, but I don't know. I guess it'll be interesting.
I might just.
You just have a look and see what they're
do a little bit of a look, yeah.
Do a bit of homework, Do a bit of homework.
I know we rely on all stats, aren't we, on this? But I think they were struggling for a Crawley fan, weren't they, to get on.
I think left back is safe to say will go to your man Leaf. I think he'll play left back.
I think if it's a back three or back four, I think Leif Davis will definitely be, in terms of on that left hand side.
He play him on the left of the back three as well, I think. So I think he'll play in CDM. We might see Jenkins, or we could see.
Here, actually. When Crawley's last game, they beat Bolton away, and according to BBC, they went for 4-4-2 diamonds. He reckons on BBC. So maybe we might see a back three, but
we might see three at the.
But in terms of CDM,
you thinking Jenkins or just Pascal going there, because maybe Pascal might end up playing there against Brighton. Obviously, KP can't play. We might find KP plays because he's out of the Brighton game. And it's going to be honest,
mate. You know? I think he does. I think KP does play. I think just to keep him fresh. In terms of, I know obviously there's a risk KP gets injured in that game, but our next game after Brighton, Southampton. So you're almost talking like 3 weeks without a game almost for KP. So I probably would play him, and I think he will. I fully feel that he will play KP there. So. Yeah, I'm happy to say KP, holding mid, to be honest.
What about on the wings? Are we saying Costa? Costa's got to start.
Costa, surely. I mean, Poveda, maybe? Poveda, Costa. One on the left, one on the right.
Yeah, Costa, Poveda. Who's coming in for Click? Or do you think Click plays?
Oh, surely not. I said, surely he's got to give him a rest.
There, and that's why I'd keep Dallas in at right back.
I mean, for me, I'd go Shackleton and Hernandez as the midfield too. And such, I think they're really well. Shackleton does the running, Pablo does the clever work with the ball. I think it's a perfect combination, but it might well be that. Jenkins can play a bit higher as well. To be fair, he's played a couple of times number 8s for the under 23. So
he's been playing him in the 8 as well, hasn't he? Under 23. So that's a lovely ball. Sterling's in, and I think he's onside. No penalty. It was soft. That Sterling. What are you doing?
He needs to try the trigger, doesn't he? Got to be getting a shot off there.
So we're saying what? Pablo, Shaq, middle.
But then maybe right back. Yeah, drama right. I think it'll be something like that. It'll be, I think Pablo will definitely play. Pablo's definitely playing that game. Costa and Poveda are definitely starting out wide. And I think say drama right back then.
Yeah, I think so. Who goes up top? Does Rodrigo get a shot up top, or do we bring in Tyler?
First person you think of is Rodrigo, in the fact that a big thing was how Bielsa sort of spoke about Roberts after the game. Of course he didn't really. It's kind of like a really weird answer Bielsa gave in that sense that he neither backs nor said kind of Tyler Roberts would be going kind of thing. So it was hard to tell exactly what Bielsa's thinking is on Tyler. But for me, I think there's a shout for Sam Greenwood or probably Joffrey Gelhardt to go in there. In terms of,
it'd be nice to see, wouldn't it? I want to see what they're about. Listen,
there's a lot of my I think they do a job.
Not seen enough of them in the under 23s, but obviously you hear the glowing receptions that they're getting. So it would be nice to see them with some first team action. But
they'll come off the bench. I think I do think they'll come. As much as I think. For me, I think we should take the cut quite seriously. I think we should have quite a strong bench in terms of senior players. Probably have some players who probably the likes of Rafinha on the bench. In case it does turn in. Because the one thing I want to avoid is let's never forget, as Stats mentioned on Monday night. Let's never forget Sutton. What we did at Sutton away. You don't want another situation like that because to be fair, after that Sutton game, that was pretty much it for Gary Monk. It was never the same after that. We completely fell away in the league. We never really looked the same after that Sutton defeat. And even though it was a completely different team, I think it changed the whole atmosphere, I thought, that game. In terms of it was just like a really, really bad way to go out of the cup. And you don't want that to happen. I don't think it will. I think even if we did put out quite a young team, we'd still probably win the game. But I think you've got to have some options off the bench. Just in case it does turn nasty, you can say, okay, the kids aren't quite ready. Let's bring on people like Rafinha, Rodrigo. Just have those options off the bench. I don't know what you think to that, mate. I do really want to see us take it seriously.
I would hope that we wouldn't have to use them, but definitely prefer some senior pros on the bench. Look, it's a League 2 side. They're still a professional outfit. Like we said before, we've lost to some woeful teams in the past. Bielsa will respect the competition. I think he'll play. He'll always put a team out that he wants to win the game, and I think he'll give opportunities to those that are on the cusp, like he did against Hull, and obviously them that played against Hull showed him that they were nowhere near. I was really disappointed that time. So
it's really I mean, you look at the players who played in that game. Bogus has obviously gone out on loan. I don't really know how well he's done there. I think I've seen a couple of kind of like brief kind of mentions about Bogus and that lot, but there was just so many disappointing performances that night. So many poor performances. So you thought that's a real opportunity for some of them. I think obviously Barry Douglas. He, in the end, Barry Douglas played that game, and it kind of felt like that was it. After Bielsa saw that performance from him, it was kind of as soon as that game had finished, he was off to Blackburn. And it felt like it was kind of a test from Bielsa for some of those players, because a lot of those players, Bogus, Douglas, probably some others who I can't think of quite at this moment in time, who just left after the game. Simple as that. They weren't trusted afterwards. So I think there's got to be a word of warning for some of the players that if you don't perform in this game, don't expect to get another chance. You've got to earn that chance. And I think Pervader's got to be a definite starter. I've seen mentions about Pervader. And what I found interesting was, I don't know if you saw that.
What do you think about Pervader?
Well, did you see what Patrick Bamford said about him?
No, I haven't.
His attitude at the start, and by Pervader's own admission, wasn't good enough. He was turning up to training late, but now he turns up. He turns up at 7:30 now. Before any other player, travels from Manchester, so probably gets up at like 6.
On the Leeds United podcast.
Yeah. I mean, we don't want to plug them too much because we want to keep people on air, but
Yeah, I've not listened to it, to be fair. Is it good? I
watched a bit, to be fair. Yeah, no, it is good. You got Bex on there and that lot, but it's nothing on all Leeds TV. So just keep watching this, guys. Keep watching this.
Keep it locked.
And locks means locks. You stay here. You don't leave the channel at any point.
Be sticking us though by the end of this, but know that we are doing the lockdown lives for you as well as ourselves.
We are. But yeah, he said Pervaders was turning up late to training. In terms of, and it was actually the senior players who pulled into one side. I think Ayling, Dallas. It wasn't Bielsa who said, "Look, you're gonna have to just keep a track of this and sort it out." And then Pervader took the message on board, and a couple of weeks later, he's starring against Man City. His old team, and he's Mendy. Has Mendy played the game for Man City since then? I don't think he has, to be fair.
I saw him a new one, didn't he, when he came on? To be fair,
he had to come off. That's the fact. He had to come off. That was like the ultimate thing of Pep Guardiola, that he didn't trust him to do the job on the player who they didn't think was good enough. So it kind of sums it up. But I think Pervader, it's a big opportunity for him. I think this is the kind of game you look at him and think you've got to seriously deliver a performance here. But I think he will. I think there's enough there to say that Pervader can potentially win us the game, to be honest, if he's on it like he was against City.
Yeah. Dale said, do you think the starting striker and left back are the hardest positions to pick for us? I don't know what you mean by that. Does he mean
for this game? Probably this game.
Sure.
Well, if we say both, okay. If we start with this game, obviously we've sort of said, who do we say striker actually for this game? Who did we decide on?
I think he might go with Rodrigo, or he might give Tyler another go before he makes a final decision on whether or not.
I think it's more likely to be one of those two rather than Gelhardt or Greenwood, to be honest. As much as those players sound promising, I think it's more likely it'll be one of those two. But I think in general, though, the starting centre forward for us is quite simply Paddy Bamford at this moment in time. I think obviously at the start of the season, I was very much with the impression that Bamford's got 2 or 3 games and then Rodrigo's probably going to come in and just take his place. But Bamford starts the season 4-4, I think it was. 3-3, actually, I think it was, But, and Rodrigo hasn't really had the chance since then. For me, I think Bamford is perfect for the centre-forward spot for us. He's proven it over 18 months now. And Rodrigo's a really good option just behind him. So I think that's pretty clear that Bamford's the starting centre-forward. Left back, though, again, our left back is not a natural left back we play there. If we had all our options available, we all know it'd be Stuart Dallas play on that side. Yeah. And that's because Stuart Dallas has been the most consistent player in that position. I think obviously you've got Davis.
Do you think it's quite interesting, Oscar, the fact that we do have a natural left back in Leif Davis, and he still persists with Alioski and Dallas? Do you think he doesn't quite think Leif's up to it yet?
I think
he obviously seems a big fan of the fact that he let Barry Douglas go.
Yeah, I think that's. And at the start of the season, Leif Davis was on the bench ahead of Barry Douglas as well. So he's kind of been for quite a while, above Barry Douglas in the pecking order. So he's obviously seen something in Leif Davis. And yeah, I don't know, it's a hard one to say really, because you look at other young players like Shackleton, never quite secured that starting spot.
Oh.
I think the thing with Leif Davis is that for me, every time he's played, and again, it's not many games he's played, he has shown a lot about him going forward, especially. So I don't know. I think it's a tough one. I think he's got a tough battle on getting ahead of Stuart Dallas. And I think when I spoke to him at the start of the season, he said, I did kind of, and to be fair, he didn't just avoid the question and say, something like, "Oh, we're all competing for places." He did say outright, he says, "I want to get ahead of Stewie Dallas. It's going to be difficult, but I've got to take on the challenge." So I like that about him. He's got that competitive spirit. But yeah, I think obviously Dallas is ahead of him in the pecking order at this moment in time. I think obviously if Davis plays well against Crawley, he moves closer. That can be the only good thing. I think a lot of it depends on performances for the senior team now. If he plays well in that game, I think he'll move closer. And I think, to be fair, from that whole game, he was probably, from what I can remember, one of our better performers on that night. We didn't play great by any stretch of the imagination, but he's probably one of the better performers in terms of, compared to like Bogus and Roberts, who just were shocking, Douglas, who was shocking. I thought Davis was probably one of the better players, to be fair.
Yeah. Philip said, "Come on then, Oscar and Joe, what's your score predictions for the Crawley game, mate?"
Ooh.
Line up, done it, really?
I mean, Crawley are 6th in League Two, so they're obviously
earlier say they've got a game to. I don't know. I can't remember. Let's have a look. They've got a game
in the week. Last game they played, so that's obviously a decent win as well. So not a bad team by any stretch of the imagination. I think it was Adonis who said this has almost got the perfect makeup of a cup shock, hasn't it? A team that's newly promoted, playing the League Two sides, away from home, winter. It's not like ideal, but I think after that whole game, I'd be surprised if there's not a massive step up in performance.
Yeah.
I'd be very surprised if we're not.
Well, you giving us a score prediction then? Do we win the game? 2-0 Leeds.
I was going to say 2-0. I'll say 2-0 as well. I think Pablo to get one, Rodrigo to get the other. I'm going for.
Right. What about we've not actually heard anything on Cooper and Lorente, has it?
I think last time I looked, I think it's on the Athletic. I think they said Brighton potentially might be the game he's fit for. I don't think he's fit for this one. Llorente, I think they were saying on the Athletic. I think it's Tom Worville. I think it was on the Athletic said Llorente's longer term. I think it's at least another month yet until we see Llorente. So it's not great to. It's not a great thought.
I do think we could do with a decent cup run. To be fair, Ray, I think we're going to survive in the league. So hopefully, get a decent cup run, man. It'd be nice to go deep into a competition for a change. We haven't done it for a very long time.
To do that. In terms of we saw what he did at Bilbao when he got into finals, and it'd be lovely to see him do that for Leeds. But hopefully, this has been ultra positive. If we did get into the grounds before the end of the season, imagine that. In terms of the first games back, we're in the quarterfinals or semi-finals. It's not going to happen, is it? Let's be honest, because we won't be allowed back in the grounds. But I think just for Leeds in general, it'd be lovely to see.
We've got Sean Trez here who says, "How good are your youngsters?" By the sounds of it, they'll walk through us. So it sounds like Sean Trez is a Crawley fan. So if you could give us a little insight into Crawley, mate, what to expect, who to look out for, please put that in the comments as well. But we have got some decent youth players, but whether or not, look, it counts for nothing. I don't think, because experience playing big man's football is a totally different kettle of fish.
It's loads tougher, just the
what about when we took was it the under-18s or whatever in one of the cups, the Carabao? No,
was it Aki Stanley? We went to?
Yeah, and we got battered. Like, what score was it?
7, 8? I think it was in the end. It might have been 8. I know we were about 6 down at half time.
Down at
half time.
So when you're young and you're raw, you can have all this talent, but big men's football is a totally different kettle of fish, especially in League Two. There'll be some naughty challenges, few elbows, I'd imagine, here and there. I don't think VAR's in. I don't know if VAR will be.
don't. There's something. I think there's a stupid thing now with the VAR that it doesn't come into play until the quarterfinals. I might be wrong on that. If one of you guys, whoever's watching this, can confirm that, but I think there's a reason.
I seen DT actually put a tweet out yesterday. Obviously, Brentford had a goal chalked off, didn't they?
Yeah, they did, didn't they?
He wasn't happy with him being an Arsenal fan and Tottenham getting away with it. But it makes a good point, though. Yeah, it makes a good point though for me in the fact that all the run up to that position there is no VAR, and then you bring it in. It's not really fair. I don't think. I don't know what you think. It's not, is it?
It's I don't know. It's if you're going to use VAR, just use it in every game.
Yeah, or not at all.
Yeah,
because imagine let's say, for example, you're in a semi-final and there's no use of VAR, and you have two perfectly good goals chalked off, and then in the final you go the other way against you or whatever it may be. It's just not fair, is it? Someone getting knocked out due to no VAR, and then in the final someone winning it on the point of VAR. I don't know. It's
I think the big thing was, I think it was Noel Gallagher who made this point, and I never thought I'd be quoting something Noel Gallagher said about football, but he made the exact point. Remember Aguero, that winner against that won City the title in the 90+4th minute or whatever it was? Remember that moment?
Yeah.
Imagine VAR on that.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
You're then deciding, whoever's in that studio is then deciding in one decision who wins the title.
Yeah.
How can you you'll be remembered as a person who decided City won the title, Man United won the title. That'll be all you'll be remembered as then. In that sense, if you're in that VAR room. So how on earth you can allow this technology to potentially put themselves in that World Cup final? You've got a penalty. Is it a penalty? Is it not a penalty? It's last minute of the game. Could be a red card. I don't know. I just don't like. I loved football, but when it's before VAR, when you just had the controversial decisions and it was always talking points, and sometimes you were on the right side of it, sometimes you're on the wrong side of it. But I'm just a big believer that by the end of the season, it does tend to balance itself out. To be honest.
Yeah. I agree, mate. You would. Who have we got? Very hit and miss, and by the sounds of it, your youngsters will cut straight through us. They look good. I hope you're right. Sean Jones, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Oscar, I'm just going to go make another coffee, as someone's commented earlier on. I keep yawning and stuff, and I am tired, but it's okay. Commit to doing this. So I'm just going to nip off and make myself a coffee and the obligatory smoke.
No worries, Matt. No worries at all. No worries, matey.
All right.
So, guys, keep your comments coming in, guys. Keep your comments coming in. Just ask us whatever you want to ask us, guys. We are doing a little watch-along of the Manchester derby, but it is half-time in the game. So, guys, get your questions in. Because I need something to talk about. Guys. This one off Philip Anderson. VAR at the start or not at all? And that's exactly what me and Joe were saying. You can't have it for some games and then not for others. It just, I don't know, it makes no sense to me at all. Why are we saying that VAR's not good enough to have at the start of a tournament, but it's good enough to have at the end of this tournament? I don't understand that. It makes absolutely no sense at all. I think in the final of the League Cup, they are in VAR, but I don't know. It makes absolutely no sense at all. Do I think KP will play against Crawley? Yes. Yeah, I do. Because if he doesn't play in that game, he's suspended for Brighton. We played Tottenham on the 2nd of January. Our next game that KP can play is the 20th. So you're almost talking 3 weeks between games. I think for me, Bielsa will look at that and say, he'll probably start KP for me just to keep that fitness, in terms of that rhythm just from playing game to game. And I think that's probably what Bielsa will do. I don't think he'd have played had he not got that, the extra yellow card, in terms of that 5th yellow card. I think it's almost definite that KP wouldn't have played. But yeah, I mean, for me, I think KP starts this game, and I think he possibly might even be captain in this game as well. Keep your comments coming in, guys. Would I buy a centre midfielder? I mean, DePaul, I just can't see happening. I can't see happening in January. I think the fee that's been mentioned, 40, 50 million, I think he probably is worth that, to be fair, on talent. He's one of the most creative players in Europe. never mind Serie A. He's one of the most great players. I think it's 40 chances he's created already this season. So, yeah, I mean, I look at it in that sense and think this is going to be a really tough deal for us to do. I think the competition we've got, Inter Milan, Juventus, as Joe's mentioned, probably even other Premier League clubs looking at him. It's going to be a really difficult deal to do in January, I feel. To be honest, I can't see anything that makes me think anything different. I just think it's going to be a deal that's going to be tough for us to make. I think it's probably, I don't know if it's one that's just kind of got away from us, Rodrigo de Paul, because it was always going to be a tough deal to make. He's an Argentinian international. He's a top player. Tough deal for us to make. But if we can't get de Paul, for me, we've got to get someone else. I don't think we can just wait for de Paul, because I don't think, to be honest, it will ever happen, if I'm being totally honest. But I'd love to be proven wrong on that. And I'm not necessarily expecting Leeds to make a signing like that. De Paul, he's got to the Europe's elite looking at him. So, yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised if that doesn't happen, to be honest. Let us know what you think on that, guys. Keep your comments coming in, guys. Keep your comments coming in. Will Chelsea sign Haaland? Just seeing that. I can't see it. I can't see that happening at all. I think Haaland, in terms of the money Chelsea have already spent, I genuinely can't see that, to be honest. I think Haaland, for me, Real Madrid, just there's so many other clubs kind of looking at him. I think all of Europe's elite will be looking at him. If Chelsea aren't in the top four, I don't think they've got a chance of getting Haaland, to be honest. And at this moment in time, Chelsea in the top four, not looking very likely. So I wouldn't have thought on that one, to be honest, guys. It's probably more chance of Haaland coming to Leeds at this moment in time. But yeah, I mean, the fee is just going to be, he's probably going to break the transfer record, isn't he? And, fair play to him. Fair play to him. I think, seeing a Leeds lad do well, it's absolutely immense, isn't it? But just a shame it wasn't for us. But just the way things go sometimes. Who was the last January signing or loanee who was any good for us? Very good question, Very good question, because our January business hasn't got a great track record, has it, for January business? I mean, come on, guys, give us some suggestions on the comments, because I'd be struggling to think now, actually. In terms of, probably the first name that kind of jumps out at me in terms of recent times is probably Max Gradle, in terms of when he initially came to us for that 6-month spell just to get us out of League One. I know obviously he got sent off in that last day of the season, but he did play a big part in getting us out of League One that season. He got some very important goals, made a lot of good impacts on games. So Max Gradle's probably the first one that kind of comes out to me, to be fair. I don't know if you guys agree. If you can think of anyone else in terms of who's come to us in January. It's a good question. That's a really good question, that. I'm struggling. I'm trying to think of our recent January business. I mean, yeah, Poveda and Forshaw's a shout. I think certainly Forshaw when he's fit. Poveda's done well. You forget about Poveda in that look because he's not been starting games. But yeah, I think Poveda's a shout. Keep your suggestions coming in, guys. I was trying to think who else was signed in January. It's a tough one. That is a tough one. Yeah, there's no other names kind of coming out. That just kind of sums up our January business. So we've got to make sure we get January right this season, Got to make sure we get January right. Was Eddie a January signing? No, we signed Eddie in the summer and he left in the January. Big Kev's been mentioned. Big Kev. No, that was a disaster. That was a disaster from the first minute, to be fair, that signing. Sean Trez says, who's a Crawley fan, Crawley are unbeaten in the last 9 games. They beat Bolton in the last game, but they were down to 10 men, but still not feeling too positive. Talking about the quality of our youngsters, but yeah, I think the big thing is how well the youngsters adapt to the occasion. If they adapt to the occasion, I think we win the game. But you just don't know. I think you saw from that Hull game, Hull in League One, they outplayed us. Let's be honest, they completely outplayed us. Is Eddie worth 15 million? Yeah, I think as me and Joe said earlier on, I think Eddie's definitely worth 15 mil, no question about it. You're talking someone who's got an unbelievable goal record, unbelievable goals per 90, in so many different kind of competitive environments. In the Championship, Premier League, international level, he's got pace, young. He ticks a lot of boxes in terms of what you want from a striker. And I think teams like Brighton, Fulham, West Brom, who need a centre forward who's going to get him 10, 15 goals a season, they can do a lot worse than signing Eddie. A lot worse. So I would not be surprised to see that happen, to be honest. Keep your comments coming in, guys. Will City sign Kane? I mean, again, something we said to. There's a lot of non-Leeds questions here, to be fair, guys. But no problem at all. No worries. We'll cover any questions you got. Will City sign Kane? Well, put it this way: as me and Joe said, it'll take a lot more than 90 mil. It'll take a lot more than 90 mil to get Kane. You got Daniel Levy. You got Kane himself. The fact it's a Premier League rival. The fact that City going to go back in for Lionel Messi. I think they're not going to get Messi and Kane. So it's almost a case of, who do they choose in that sense? So, yeah, I think they could get Kane. I don't think any of the Tottenham mates would thank me for saying that, but I think they could get Kane in theory. But they might go for Haaland. We all know about his dad's history of the club. So, yeah, I think the other thing with Kane as well that might put City off a little bit is his injury record. They've already complained about Jesus and Aguero getting injured too much. They're probably going to say the same about Kane at some point. He's not got the best record in that sense, but it could definitely happen. It could definitely happen. Do I think Leeds will do a lot of business in the summer? Depends a lot on our league position, really. I think we will be safe. I think a bit depends on what we do in January as well. Do we save up in terms of not really paying out any big fees or not really doing any business in January to save for the summer? I mean, let's not forget, we just spent over 100 million last summer. So, we're committed quite a lot in terms of the players we brought in. I think the players we brought in, Rodrigo, Rafinha, Koch, Llorente, obviously we're still on the fence about at the moment because we've not seen him play. I think in that sense, maybe you might see a similar level of investment. I don't think we'll see a lot more than that. I think obviously you'd have to see the 49ers get involved a little bit more. But I think if we finish, and push up that table and finish in the top half, then maybe the incentive really will be there to go for it and say, let's try and push for something even higher in what might be Bielsa's last season next season. This season might be Bielsa's last season. So a lot depends on that as well, because obviously, as Mitchell mentioned yesterday, that Gerrard rumour won't go away, and you almost wonder where that's coming from. But look, let's not think about that yet. Let's not think about that at all. Amiri or Foden? I mean, I've not seen a lot of Amiri, to be fair, but I'd start to say Foden. I'd start to say Foden in terms of what he's doing for Man City at the very, very top level. And I'd start to say Foden overall in terms of those two. Both top talents, though. Let's keep your comments coming in, guys. Keep your comments coming in. We can push for Europa League next season. Yeah, I think you got a lot of the basis there in terms of the players we brought in. Koch, Rodrigo, Rafinha. They are that quality for me. They have got that quality to play at that level, and they have played at that level. So I don't see, at this moment in time, I don't see why not, because I think the thing is at this moment, we're beating the teams below us. We're doing the basics right. We're beating the teams below us. And I think it's more and more quality we bring into the team, in terms of defenders, the more experience we gain, the more know-how we gain in terms of this league. I think we'll just continue to improve for me. I can't see any reason to doubt that. I think in the big games, as I've already mentioned, I think I mentioned in the Tottenham post-match that we will improve by next season in terms of in the big games, that we'll show more know-how, we'll stay in the games better. And I think we will. I think we've seen that with so many teams, in terms of that first season's difficult. It is really difficult. Keep your comments coming in. Keep your comments coming in, guys. Again, Tomori, another one we've mentioned earlier on in the stream. For me, I don't think we do, because we've got so many centre-backs already. Does Tomori add to this team? Definitely. I think Tomori's definitely got quality, but I don't think that's one we would go for, purely because we've spent 30 million on centre-backs already, and obviously got full-backs at the club. I think it's more likely we sign a full-back than a centre-back, to be honest, at this moment in time. I would have thought that'd be the case. Keep your comments coming in, guys. But yeah, I mean, quite a few interesting questions here, mate. Quite a few interesting questions. I think obviously Tomori's been mentioned. Quite a lot of in terms of what we spoke about earlier on in the stream and that lot. I mean, just to kind of look into the future a little bit. I mean, because I've seen a few mentions of Bielsa. In your heart of hearts, how much longer do you reckon Bielsa will be at this club for?
2 seasons.
2 full seasons.
Maybe. No, yeah, two more. I think we might get 2 more out of him, which would be amazing considering what we were all worried after season 1. We all know his reputation, but he seems to be very, very happy in Wetherby, where he lives, in Leeds, in Yorkshire in general. It seems to have really gone to his heart. I tell you who I'd like to replace him, Stevie G.
Yeah, I think the thing about Stevie G is that in terms of personality, I don't think he'd be too. I think the thing is, we've got to remember replacing Bielsa. It's not going to be an easy task, in terms of psychologically. You're coming into the club. You kind of know you're never going to be as popular as the guy who's just in charge. That's a fact. You're never ever going to be as popular as Bielsa. It's impossible. Unless he won the Champions League and Premier League, he would not be as popular as Bielsa. So, and I don't think Gerrard would be as phased as that, as say a less experienced manager would. So I think he's the perfect personality. You've seen what he's done at Rangers. I mean, yeah, I don't see why not. I don't see why not. But I think obviously Gerrard, it depends on Liverpool. I think obviously, I think Mitchell mentioned
Gerrard he won't be at Rangers in 2 seasons' time, will he? I think he'll be somewhere else.
Maybe not even after this season. I think he's just. I personally think after this season, once he's won this, because he's probably going to win the SPL now. You'd imagine. What are the 19 points clear? He wins that SPL. He's proven his point.
Well,
Europe as well.
Yeah.
He's proven that point, and there's not going to be a shortage of takers, is there? There's not going to be a shortage of takers in the summer. If he's just done that at Rangers and the level of coach he is. So yeah, I think he's definitely a good shout. I think there's a lot of people being linked, isn't there? No, it's but for me,
I know the club were massive fans of Lee Bowyer.
Yeah, I'm not really seeing that one as much. I think that's more.
It was more so as a case of being worried. That maybe, I guess, I think my thing, the club are always looking and are always in the market just in case Bielsa does say.
Well, Bielsa could leave in a month's time. It's what Bielsa, if he's not happy with something, or if we don't have a good transfer window, I think we're under no illusion. So you've always got to have that succession plan in place. And, Bielsa, if he's not happy with something, he won't stay. It's not like a case of he'll just work through it. He just simply won't stay. So that's what we've done really well so far. I mean, Brentford. No.
I'll tell you what, this is a little bit off topic, but my brother sent it me earlier. Apparently, Brendan Rodgers is being looked at for the Chelsea job. I don't know if there's any real thing in that.
I think that's a really good for both.
It started there.
You see the link. You can see that's the thing.
I think
he started there as the academy coach.
Yeah.
So you can see the link, and obviously the way Rodgers plays probably suits those players pretty well. At high intensity. Obviously, Werner can be his Vardy and that lot. You can see a couple of links there. Look, I think Rodgers with that kind of budget and quality of player, he probably has them pushing for a title, no doubt. For me, to be honest, so I hope it doesn't happen. I really hope it doesn't happen.
We might be about to see a Manchester City goal here, free kick on for Sterling, and it looks.
Probably De Bruyne to swing this in.
Who do it? Someone. I was just
Diaz, doesn't it?
Scores it, and someone's just put it in the comments, so we can't play that game.
Actually looks yet.
Go on, then give me someone. It's
John Stones. It's a Yorkshireman. Yeah. It's a Yorkshireman who makes it 1-0.
Yeah, Barnsley's own John Stones. Manchester City.
I don't know about the defending there though. That's poor defending, isn't it? So not a great ball in, really. That's a poor bit of defending that.
They don't look happy either, but yeah, nice to see. Get it up, yeah. John Stones, Yorkshire's own. Let's have a look. It's a good ball in.
No, he's on. He's 100% on. It's actually Luke Shaw. No surprises there. Who loses him?
Could they say Mahrez has affected the play, maybe? I'm not sure. I don't think so. It's really shocking defending, though. Maguire and Shaw.
He's needed today.
Help us out, please. Help us out. But yeah,
well, I think this is the stage where you say this is where Solskjaer's got to show he's the genius.
Goal. I think they're going to chalk it off. Is it due?
Really?
Could it be the fact that Mahrez has impeded? I think Mahrez could have impeded. What's his face? Maguire. Let's have a look.
I don't know if I would agree with that.
Oh no, is he giving it? Yeah, it's been given. It's been given. Mark Jones is telling Porkies. It's been given.
Sixth goal this season for Stones.
Get up there.
That's good for a centre back, though, isn't it? Six. for in the season. I mean, of our defenders in total scored 6. We don't get many goals from set pieces, do we? Let's be honest. But
Cooper
6.
got a goal from Cooper. Well, Alioski, Dallas has scored as well. He's actually scored against Scum, didn't he? Decent goal.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. To be fair, yeah, but still, though.
Mark, you don't have to apologise, my man.
No, you definitely don't have to apologise.
No.
But,
yeah, but who do you? So look, I've said all season that Tottenham will win silverware.
Yeah,
they're in the final. I still see them winning the Carabao Cup regardless of who's going through. I don't know. What do you think? Or do you reckon it's City's if they were to go?
It depends how strong City go, in terms of. But if City win this, I mean, they've still got a bit of work to do. But I think probably now you'd imagine 1-up.
I just think
open up a bit.
I think Tottenham and Mourinho are destined for a trophy. It might not. It might not be a trophy. But I think
what I would say is, if it is City and Tottenham, obviously you got the Mourinho versus Pep, another battle between those two. I think that when Tottenham beat City, I don't think City were the same team they are now. I think they were struggling for balance a little bit. They weren't playing particularly well. But I think since that game, they've actually started to really play. So I think it'll be a much tougher game for Tottenham than it was a couple of weeks ago when obviously Tottenham went top of the league when they beat them last time. So I still think Mourinho will win a trophy, but it might not be in that one. I think Europa League's probably Europa League I look at and I think, looking at the teams that are in there, I think Tottenham I think are too strong, to be honest. And Mourinho's know-how, he'll win one of them.
Yeah,
There's no doubt about that for me. He'll win one of them, and he might even win more than that. I think the way Tottenham are set up, the only thing they do risk is they're so reliant on Kane and Son.
If one of them
injury, burnout, in terms of how much work the Rams would both do for the team. It'd be interesting in that sense. And they actually played last night, didn't they, Kane and Son, which I was a bit surprised at.
Oh, did he? I never watched the game. I didn't watch the game.
I didn't watch it. The only things I've seen are the goals and the tackle from De Silva on Højbjerg. Have you seen that? Højbjerg's leg.
I haven't, mate. No,
Not seen it.
No.
It's not. If you not have a nervous disposition about.
Is this from De Silva?
Yeah, Josh De Silva.
I've seen him put out on Twitter. Anyone who knows me knows I didn't mean it, or something like that. Is it not on like?
He was going for the ball. He was just really, really late, kind of thing, and he's just followed through on Højbjerg.
Oh, Man City.
He's done well here, De Bruyne. This is really good. Sterling on this right. Maguire's done well here,
Yes. Do you know what? That's more Sterling's poor bloody touch.
Yeah, I think if Sterling had gone at him first time, I think probably leads to a bit more danger that. But yeah, they're causing problems all over the pitch, aren't they? City started the second half.
The game has to open up now, doesn't it? And that really favours City, doesn't it?
It suits City, doesn't it? De Bruyne with a bit more space in front of him, a bit more time on the ball. I think it definitely suits him. I mean, you're looking at where's Pogba going here in terms of discipline. I don't know where he's supposed to be here, but surely he's not supposed to be this high up the pitch. Yeah,
I think City will win this one now. He could get a couple, if I'm being honest. It might really.
Yeah, I think
it really favours
if
them.
It goes to 2, if they score next, City, I think it probably does get a bit heavy. That's a bit like Chelsea in that sense. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? I think.
For some reason, your pod just came up. Enjoying. If you are watching us for the first time, please subscribe, mate. We'll be going live every night during lockdown. So make sure you join us. We're gonna have, and if you want to come on, let us know as well. We're gonna get.
We want you guys to come on. It's a great opportunity. In terms of just to come on. In terms of we've got that many more weeks left of lockdown. Get your All Leeds TV fix, guys.
Get your All Leeds TV fix. We've got Kieran coming on tomorrow, Tasha's brother. We've also got a fan of the channel called Jamie, and the other person I forgot, which is mad, isn't it? But I do know I will find the messages. I've been inundated with messages of people wanting to come on, and I will make it happen. Obviously, we've got till February as well, so don't worry about it. We will make it happen if you do want to come on. I'm just trying to remember who that who that third person was for Thursday.
Who is more overrated? Pogba. I think it's got to be Sterling's not overrated, is he? Would you say, mate? I think Sterling's done the job for 2 or 3 years now. I think it's got to be Pogba, hasn't it?
Gundogan.
Oh, this is nice.
Oh, it's a good ball. I thought he would.
Ooh.
Sterling. Oh, it's a good save.
I thought he was going to catch that, Henderson.
Yeah.
Don't really know why he didn't. It didn't seem like the best of headers, to be fair. But yeah, Gundogan's just pulled the strings, hasn't he, in the second half? It's a lovely ball into Foden. Don't know where Wan-Bissaka is. Do you think he could have caught that? It didn't seem to be going at a lot of pace. Don't know, just catch it.
This person, Oscar, and it's doing my head in because it's there it is. I think I know who it is. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's Paul Wilson. Paul Wilson, who we've had on before as well. So we'll have Paul Wilson, Kieran, Goodin, which is Tasha's brother, and we've got Jamie as well. I don't know Jamie, so yeah, it'll be he's a fan of the channel. I think we've had Paul on before.
We have.
Yeah, he does the music stuff, does Paul. So yeah, keep it locked to all Leeds TV as per.
Ooh.
Oh, who's that coming in there? Foden.
Great, what a ball of Cancelo. I mean, Cancelo's just been unreal this second half. Like watching Luke Ayling this.
Luke Williams says, "Hi guys, as you are in lockdown in our capital." But yeah, I've seen a bit of this. I've not really. Washington DC has been stormed by Trump supporters. I think, is that right, Luke? I've seen something like that. I think people have broken in. I mean, it says a lot about the security, doesn't it?
What? That's scary. That if he was buying something like that.
I think I'll just have a quick look on Twitter. I know people were mentioning it. Pro-Trump mob breaches Capitol at least one shot. Wow.
Blimey.
Yeah, one shot.
Wow.
That's why you shouldn't have guns for me. That's why you shouldn't have guns, because stuff like that happens. Would they really need to have been shot? Probably not. But there you go. That's for another day. But Luke, you stay safe. Yeah, that's straying into crazy things.
That's like all Leeds TV going into like COVID theories now.
Yeah. Ben says, "Where is Connor? I remember him from the streams last season." Connor has his own channel, One Leeds. Go check it out if you want to. Mark says, "I used to working off furloughed. I've been at work today, first after Christmas, then furloughed again. I'm not. I was made redundant, so I'm putting my feet up. I'm just doing this, but I know Oscar's working from home. Let's have a look. Some more. Yeah, they've locked down everything. Apparently, that's in America.
I mean, did you see Australia and New Zealand though on New Year's Eve? I mean, not to go like sad, but did you see how it was unbelievable? Like, watching it, I was so envious. Like thousands of people just gathering, and they can because they've not had the case for 28 days. I mean,
really?
It's hard, mate. It's hard to watch. It's hard to watch, but yeah, fair play. If you are in Australia watching this, let us know. Let us know what it's like just being free, I guess.
Yeah,
I'm sure you'll be in Oz watching us now.
Yeah, Adam Grigg says, up the villa. I tell you what, do you reckon Jack Grealish goes in the summer for big money?
I think as much as I want to say he's overrated, he's not. He's a top quality player.
I think he's going to end up at Scum, you know. And he'd be the ideal player for him. He'd be the ideal player. Like, Jack Grealish at Scum,
just if you couldn't dislike him anymore, he then pulls that stuff.
Especially from a Leeds fan perspective.
Could you get
commented on it before, didn't he? Saying for some reason he doesn't understand why, but Leeds fans don't like him.
I don't think any football fans do. To be fair, it's more because he's off the pitch stuff for me. I mean, he's a really good player to watch. To be fair, but just off the pitch, he's too much of a. I don't know. He's just got that aura about him, but that's probably part of what makes him a really good player, to be fair. But if you're a Villa fan, you probably absolutely love Jack Grealish.
Of course you would, yeah.
I mean, we'll have players like that who, opposition fans really don't like. Luke Ayling, I would imagine most opposition fans, and Alioski. I mean, they absolutely can't stand him. I mean, Arsenal fans are still bloody writing about Alioski, aren't they, on Twitter and that lot? But yeah, I mean, look, you look at Grealish. The only thing I'd say about him going there is could you get Fernandes, Pogba, Grealish in the same team? But I think they're going to be linked, aren't they? I think obviously.
Mahrez has got the run on Lindelof. Oh, that's a good save from Dean Henderson.
He could even go out of England. I think that you could see. Even like
I don't know. You don't get many English players going out of England, though, do you?
No, but I don't know. I could see.
Honestly, I think he'll go for massive money.
He will. He'll go
to Man United. I do. I think that's where he'll end up. I think that's where he'll end up. For what? About 80 mil?
Yeah, I reckon 75, 80. So it's not 100 mil for me. I think.
No.
The only reason I say that is he's got to prove it over a long period of time. And I think the other person I really like, who doesn't get any mention at all, because Grealish takes all the headlines, but Maddison at Leicester.
Yeah.
You saw what he did against us. In that second half in that game, he was absolutely unreal when he came on. And for me, he's proven it though over a longer period of time. Maddison and Grealish, in terms of he's been consistently really, really good for quite a long time. So I don't know. I think one of them will go.
Yeah, this is my brother. Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is, Mark. My older brother. He's a tyre fitter. Yeah, around.
That's a plug, isn't it? That's a plug in the heart.
The West Yorkshire area. So if you want your tyres fitting, Johnny's Tyres. I'm going to take a picture of that now, actually, and send him it. That's made me laugh. My brother's doing bits for me while he's out on the road doing tyres. What a man. That's brilliant. I'll send him that now. That's class. Brilliant.
I don't know if I'd agree with this, though. I wouldn't take Ozil. Just to mention, would you take Ozil for 6 months? I don't know. I think obviously Ozil under Bielsa, if he actually wanted to produce what he can produce, I think he'd probably be an absolutely unreal player for us. But I don't know if he's got that hunger for me. I don't think he's got that desire to play football. You just look at it as a complete way. He's not even that old, He's not even that old at all. I think he's what 30 tops, I think he is. So it's a bit of a waste, isn't it? But not for me. Demarai Gray. Demarai Gray. Would you?
We've been linked with him before, I swear.
Yeah.
As well.
It's similar to Adama Traore, though, for me. I think in terms of the talent's there, Bielsa could probably get it out of him, but does he add a lot more than what we've already got? I don't know. I'm not sure on that. I think Locks kind of said to us as well that when we did actually mention Demarai Gray to him, we said you can have him kind of thing. So that kind of, it kind of tells you what the kind of feeling is on Demarai Gray at Leicester. But Ozil with Murder Ball would be fun. To be fair, that would be hilarious. That would be hilarious. Just
I'd rather have this guy if we could make that happen. Christian Eriksen,
yeah. He made a bad decision, in terms of going to Inter Milan. He probably should have just stayed at Spurs. In terms of, he'd probably be perfect for that Spurs team right now. In terms of the only thing they miss, a bit of creativity outside of Son and Kane.
Do you think he'll come back to the Premier League? Looks that way, doesn't it?
I don't watch a lot of Italian football. From what I've seen, is he's not. Him and Conte don't get on at Inter Milan, and he's not the main man at Inter Milan, so I can definitely see it. I can't see him go back to Spurs, though. I think when you leave Mourinho, it's very rare you get taken back. So I don't know, someone like
he's not going to
Southampton, maybe type of club you see him going to. A Wolves, maybe, I don't know, someone like that. It's an interesting one, but he's still a quality player. He's still
just on Italian football as well, Oscar. Look what happened to me earlier on. So I don't know if everyone can see this. Over 2.5 in all the Italy games. One team, one goal. Even it weren't even one team. It was one goal. One
team let down.
And I also had both teams to score in the same league, and again one team, Atalanta Parma. And I've won about 1,800 quid, mate, in total. So, yeah, Italian football can do one.
Oh, mate.
Sickening.
How much did you put on?
Fiver, mate. Fiver. You get big. On Bet365 as well, they do a bonus as well, like a betting bonus. But, yeah, the other week it was... was it Atalanta? No, it wasn't. Who was it? It was Udinese who let me down by a goal. And then today, yeah. Parma.
Stop betting on Serie A, mate. Stop betting.
This is the thing. Serie A is goals, which
there's that.
Both teams to score over 2.5, but one goal, fuming because was it AC Inter kicked off tonight, or which one was it? AC Juve, sorry. AC Juve.
Sorry, AC Juve, yeah.
Yeah, and you're thinking, oh, well, if you want that one to let you down, so then you can go, oh, well, I wouldn't have won it anyway. But no, that one didn't let me down. So, yeah, I missed out by one goal, which is brutal.
Man.
Gamble responsibly, people. Gamble responsibly. Yeah. Gavin James says, lads, name 2 players you would sign if you could this January. I'll pick one, you pick one, eh?
Okay.
I'm saying... Who am I saying? Giroud. I'd love Olivier Giroud, I would.
Is budget no issue?
Oh, if budget's... Go on then. What, are you going Messi?
I've got to agree with Christoph Junction. I'm going Ricky Pooge. I mean,
under he keeps getting linked though, doesn't he? What's the deal there?
I mean, mate, if we got him, we're finishing top 6, mate. If we get him, I'm putting that out there. I mean, if we get him in under Bielsa, that's not real signing, mate. It's not just a good signing. It's like that's like someone who, if Bielsa got his hands on, would just mould into like a top player. So. Yeah, for me, I'd look at him, De Paul as well. If money's no object, but I'd probably go Pooch, to be fair, before De Paul.
Money's no object, like Mark says here. You've got to go Haaland, haven't you?
Yeah. I mean, sorry, Paddy, but you're gonna have to go to the Haaland's just a robot. I mean, he's just insane, to be fair. But I mean, an interesting one is. Brooks, to be fair, at Bournemouth, he's one we thought as soon as Bournemouth went down, I thought there's no chance he'll. Buendia,
Sheffield United might have gone there.
Well, yeah, I mean, Buendia's still in the Championship. Far too good to be.
What about Buendia to Arsenal?
Yeah, that's a step up though, isn't it? It's a bit of a. I think so. I don't know if that's a mistake from Arsenal. For me, I'm not saying
25-30 mil out there as well. They're talking pretty decent money. Especially when you consider we probably could have got him done for about 15. You reckon?
That seems a risk for Arsenal, though, doesn't it? You know what I mean? Spent someone who's unproven. They need results. Arsenal. They still need results now. I mean, you'd probably go for someone a bit more experienced, wouldn't you? Or
they spent 75 million on bloody Pepe, and he's absolute garbage.
That's the thing. It's why you can't go off. You know, Pepe's numbers in France were like, I think he got 25 and 30, but
Rafinha though, weren't they? And he's flattered to deceive.
But Rafinha only got like 2 or 3 goals last season, but it's why you can't just go off stats. You know, you've got to look at the player itself, and obviously Rafinha already about a fifth of the price has done more than Pepe has in 18 months in England. So, you know, it sums up how good. I think their recruitment's poor, Arsenal's. It's consistently pretty poor. You know, it's but yeah, no, it's an interesting.
Did they pay big money for Saliba? Now he's gone out on loan, right?
Yeah, I don't get that. At all. I think I've said before, for us, I think he'd be physical, big, strong on set pieces. I think he'd be really suitable for us. But I don't get that at all. I think there's got to be more to that than meets the eye, really. But I think it's 25. I think they pay for Saliba, so big money to pay for someone who you're just loaning out all the time. And I mean, you're looking at Rob Holding, David Luiz. Let's be honest. Would I be comfortable with Rob Holding or David Luiz in the Leeds team? No. And that sums it up. If I don't think they're good enough for Leeds, they're probably not good enough for Arsenal, who are pushing for the top 6, are they? You know? That's the thing. If Leeds had all their defenders available, would David Luiz or Rob Holding start games for Leeds? I don't think they would. And that kind of sums it up, doesn't it? You know, and that's their main centre-back pairing in that lot. So, yeah, no, but they're still only 3 points below Chelsea. After all that, after everything, they're still probably going to finish above Chelsea. So that kind of puts more pressure on. I think that probably puts more pressure on Lampard, to be honest.
Yeah, but, well, that's another one. Oh, look at that for a ball by De Bruyne. Give it Gundogan. Why didn't you give it Gundogan there instead of trying to play Sterling in?
Oh, yeah. They're not quite killing this game, are they, City? The only thing I'd say is they've had a couple of chances now to really hurt Man United on the counter, but they're just not taking them.
Here's a goal against Stones. He's bundled it in.
It's poor goals given away, isn't it, though?
Luke Shaw and Maguire nowhere, man. Like, what's Shaw doing? Shocking defending, really.
Woeful. Whoa, how you can concede a goal like that. But yeah, no, it's an interesting one. I mean, it's an interesting one. I've just kind of thought of this question. Next manager sacked for you.
It's going to be Frank, isn't it?
You think?
Yeah,
I'm still standing by my Graham Potter prediction.
Dear.
I'm still standing by it.
I don't think they'll sack him, will they? Who are they going to bring in, Brighton?
I don't know. It depends if they have another couple of bad results, which hopefully they will against us. I think their expectation levels have got to be higher than what he's kind of delivering at the minute. Well, he's 17th, and they got
what was he talking about? How we're going to be? I mean, we were talking about this last night, and I think it's a great point. They've probably knocked off about 15 million off Ben White's price tag that they were asking us for, and I think they may have missed the boat in getting decent money for him. I don't know what you think about that.
Possibly. I mean, so badly managed, though. That's the big thing. Playing him holding midfield, it's all over the place. I mean, they've got quality. Lamptey, Bazuma, Ben White, Dunk's a good player.
To be fair as well, I've just noticed there, Fulham have got 2 games in hand. So if they were to get a positive result, they'd go above Brighton. So Brighton would be in there.
That's shocking, though, isn't it, from that point of view? You know, it doesn't matter. They've got all this thing about they're playing better than what the results show, but at the end of the day, if you're playing Ben White, if you're playing Dan Burn over Ben White at centre back, then you can't have any sympathy. I'm not being disrespectful, but you can't have any sympathy. But to be fair, having said that, Dan Burn's probably a set piece threat against us, isn't he? That's the only thing I'd say about that. 6'8", I think he is. So, but yeah, you know, in general though, they're not well managed.
No.
I mean, Lampard to Brighton. It's a shout. As Big Lou said though yesterday, who's going to take Lampard after Chelsea inevitably the part company either at the end of the season or mid-season? You know, where does he go? I honestly.
No, well, someone said that last night. It's like
it was Big Lou, I think it was, who said it yesterday.
You're right. Where does he go? Like, does someone lower end Premier League maybe take a chance, like a Brighton? I don't know, but maybe. See, the thing with Frank Lampard is he's got that much of a high opinion of himself that I think he'd think it was beneath him now that he's been at Chelsea. Do you know what I thought was quite interesting as well? And I don't know what your opinion on it is, Oscar. After Arsenal, he came out so bullish and started berating players and all that. And then again, City, he was like, "Oh, just City is so much better. You know, you've got KD, you've got Cal." Oh, is he dived there? I think he's dived there, you know. He should get a yellow card, Martial. Yeah. Big time yellow card. But yeah, it just seems total change of tack. Let's have a look at this.
Oh, that's a shocking dive.
Oh, getting booked, ref.
That's blatant. That's so blatant that Diaz is looking the other way. Diaz knows what's coming anyway before he even does it. So Greenwood's coming on from McTominay. So that's quite an attacking change, that, isn't it? They've got to go for it now, haven't they? It's probably going to leave more space for City, just as likely to. But I think another shout as well. I saw Steve Bruce mentioned there. He's not popular at Newcastle, is he? To be fair, but
I don't think they'll get.
I can't see it. I think they're probably quite happy with what he's doing.
That's all Mike Ashley's bothered about, isn't he?
Well, the board, yeah, it's a difference, isn't it? They just want to stay in the league, and Bruce kind of does the job, doesn't he? But yeah, I mean, the thing is with Lampard, I think he's kind of realised after that Arsenal thing that was a really, really daft thing to do, you know, in terms of just try and take on his own players.
Yeah, that's what. And it's come out. Apparently, the likes of Havertz and Werner are actually happy with him and Jody Morris. I think it's been said. So,
well, it's not surprising, is it? You know, I mean, I can't imagine Jody Morris being the easiest of people to work with, to be honest. Just given of what he did at Leeds and that lot. I mean, he's just not a likable person, is he, Jody Morris?
Neither of them are.
No, they're not at all. But yeah, I mean, him, Lampard, and John Terry is just like the perfect three, isn't it? Almost.
Someone said, "Would you Would you go back in for Ben White in the summer if Brighton go down? I don't think it'll happen, Oscar. I think it's everyone keeps mentioning it, and I understand why, but I don't think we'll go back in for Ben White. That ship's sailed, man.
Yeah, it has. I think it's the thing is with Ben White as well is I think confidence levels won't be the same as what they were because he's been played out of position so much. He's not played particularly well when he's played, and yeah, I just think Brighton have just done a shocking deal there. You know, they insisted they wouldn't sell him to us when really they didn't really have much plan for him there in the first place. They never really saw the potential in Ben White that Bielsa did. You know, it's the fact of the matter. They sent him out on loan. He's still played more games for other teams than he has for Brighton. So it kind of sums up. You know, it is age now. For me, he needs to get a move. I don't think it's to us though. I think you look at Everton, a Wolves.
Yeah,
probably the perfect moves for him really in terms of quite lower expectation.
He still rock up at Liverpool, you know.
I think the thing with Liverpool now is though, would that be the best move for Ben White right now in terms of going straight on? He's not going to. I think right now he might start the odd game, but I think really Liverpool are looking at like the top centre halves in Europe. And I think the only reason they were looking at him was just as backups of Van Dijk, Gomez, Matip, etc. I don't think now. Certainly in the form he's in, I can't see it, but it does get mentioned, doesn't it? To be fair.
Yeah, I love this from Robbie. Robbie Powell said, "Brother's a Man United fan. I left my phone on downstairs for a minute, came back and he disliked the stream. Went mad at him. Tell your brother he needs to calm his passions just because his team are getting beat." But yeah, big shout out Robbie for doing that. Getting told, man. Put him in the cupboard under the stairs like as a Potter. Getting told. Shaw having a go. Cancelo, yeah. Big fat Luke Shaw. All the pies, yeah. I don't know why he's done that, to be fair.
Why has he done that?
Honestly, it's so funny when you see footballers do that. Like, it's
like
so intense.
It's an ego thing, isn't it? Like,
yeah, of course it is, yeah.
Who are you kind of thing? It's just like neither of them looks good in that situation, do they? Just both look like idiots. But looks like Rodri coming on for City, probably for Mahrez. So quite a defensive change that. Yeah. Probably trying to see the game out. Mahrez has played all right for me today.
Yeah. Rodri's not really had the impact I think we've thought.
I think the thing is the speed of this league compared to La Liga is just insane, and you know, physicality as well. I think in Spain he was like a proper beast, you know, compared to the other centre mids, you know. But in this league, not really anything special in that kind of physical sense. And playing as a holding midfielder, you need that physicality like a Fernandinho. So it probably will. He's one of those players for me who will get better after a couple of seasons because he's still only quite young. But he's not. He's probably not at City's level at the minute, and that's why he's on the bench, you know, in a game like this.
What have we got? We've got 10 minutes left to play. City's still 1-up. Man United, Bruno Fernandes.
That's a poor decision, that.
Yeah.
That's very, very greedy, that, isn't it?
Villa fans said, where do you think Leeds will finish? Up the Villa?
Ooh, it's a hard one. We're 12th, aren't we, at the minute, I think?
11th, I think.
11th still. 11th.
Yeah. I think we are. Let's have a look. No, we're 12th. You're right. We're on 11 points with Arsenal. And above Wolves, which is quite surprising, isn't it?
Well, Wolves have been terrible this season. Yeah. Wolves, since they lost Jimenez, it's kind of been I don't think Wolves are finishing top 10, to be honest. I think I think they look shocking, to be honest. I think in that Brighton game, they were lucky to get away with a 3-3, to be honest. So I've not seen loads of them, but not been impressed when I've seen them. To be honest, I'm not sure. I'm not sure at Wolves who's getting the goals for them aside from Neto. They've not got that 20-goal a season man in Jimenez now for probably the rest of the season, unfortunately for Jimenez. Because let's be honest, had that not happened, I think he'd have been getting a January move.
Do you think?
Yeah, I think he's that level, the level he's playing at for so consistently. I think a Man United probably looks at him. A City might have even looked at him as a backup striker. I think a lot of clubs would have been looking at him, I reckon. What
do you reckon of this, Mark Jones? How do you think long Do you think Chris Wilder will last? I think he sees the season out. I don't. Do you think he's going to get sacked?
I could see it, because I think, for me, I'm being honest now. I'm not like trying to have it. Yeah, Hal will probably take issue with me this on Friday. I think now you look at the Chris Wilder experiment and you're thinking, it's gone on that long now, the poor results. And it's not just this season, you know.
No, you're right.
Last 10 games of last season, you kind of question, has the magic gone a bit? Have the players do the players need a new voice in the dressing room? But
I think if they were to lose against Bristol Rovers in the FA Cup,
is that who they got?
Yeah, I've just had a look there. So they're away at Bristol Rovers. So maybe they, I don't know, maybe they get a positive.
Nasty game, that, isn't it? It's a nasty game, that, when you're not playing well.
They've got Newcastle. So it'd be the perfect catalyst for them to get a positive result against Bristol Rovers and then maybe go back in the league having won a game. Because I think, for me, if Chris Wilder goes out with the thinking of the league's more important, I want to rest players, and they lost, then I think it'd be even more demoralising. So for me, if I'm Chris Wilder, I'm thinking play a strong side and then get a win, and then we play Newcastle. Looks like Man City have scored here. Let's have a look. Go on then, who's your guess?
Diaz I'm going for. No, it's Fernandinho. It's 2. What strike that is. What strike that is. So, it's a strike that.
I wonder when the last time Fernandinho got one was.
He's hit that, hasn't he? Bottom corner, it's unsavable.
Strike. Man United knocked out. Have it up,
Look, this could be more than 2, I reckon. But it's going to really open up now, isn't it? This could be 3, to be honest. But yeah, it's cleared out by Martial, and he's caught that so sweet, hasn't he?
It's Wan-Bissaka who heads it to him, basically. Good assist from Wan-Bissaka.
Right, he does. Right up in the air. Oh, what a strike, though.
He basically sets it up for him, doesn't he? Tees it up for him, Wan-Bissaka.
Perfect, isn't it?
There you go, mate.
Striking half that, though.
Yeah.
City being the miles better team here, though. It's all been all City, really, the second half. There's no doubt about that. And that's why, for me, it'll be a City-Liverpool, in terms of the last couple of weeks of the season. It'll just be those two for me by the end, fighting it out for the title.
Sheffield United, just going back to Sheffield United, obviously Bristol Rovers, then Newcastle, and then they've got Tottenham, Man United, and Man City. So
that's the thing. They've not just been losing to like those teams; they've been losing to pretty poor teams, haven't they? I mean, they've lost some pretty
all the games, though, haven't they? You know what I mean?
They have, but I don't know. You look at them and think he's not really changed anything. He's still playing a back 3. Could he change something around it? I don't know. I think now you look at it and think, still a good manager. There's no doubt about that, by the way. No doubt about that at all. Yeah. If he gets sacked by Sheffield United, he'll get another job in the Championship. No problem at all. Absolutely no doubt about it. But you just look at it now and you think, I know like Farker at Norwich is the other side of the argument. He's got Norwich top of the table. It looked like he kind of ran out of ideas. But I think 2 points, though, from 17, is it? 2 points from 17? That is like... kind of like, it's almost like they'll finish with more points than that.
Saying there's been more national lockdowns than Sheffield United have got points this year. So
it's not even like they're playing beautiful football and you can kind of cling on to that for me now in terms of they're really entertaining to watch. They're just a solid team that try and keep it tight, but just keep losing games.
It's been a massive loss for them.
Yeah, there's that. There is that, to be fair. But I think even last season they just played really good football last season. But I think even now you look at them and think they're not even really doing that anymore. In terms of they have Fleck playing box to box, Lundstrom, and there's just no goals in that team. So for me,
Foden getting round Lindelof.
I think even if they'd have to put on some run now for me to stay up. And what I will say is this season, there's no way you'll need 40 points to stay up. It'll be a lot later than that.
Yeah.
All the teams down there are really, really poor, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's really showing as well.
Yeah, no.
They've been shocking in this game, haven't they?
Them that are commenting and asking questions about like Tomori, etc. We're not ignoring you. We've already discussed the Tomori thing and other ones. I know we've been on now for like 2 hours, so As
It
you
doesn't
can,
feel like that though. It's gone. I've really enjoyed this tonight. This new format. We'll try and do this more often with just watch along, casual bit of commentary. Get your questions in. Just let us know if you want a bit more of this, guys. In terms of they're so poor tonight, aren't they? Man United just so sloppy and they're absolutely all over. City look like the real deal last couple of games. The fact they're doing this to pretty decent teams, in terms of just completely suffocating them. I mean, look at this now, just completely just walking the ball around the pitch. It looks too easy. It's too easy. They took like 4 players out there in one move.
Brilliant, that. Great move, Rodri, Fernandinho, KDB all combining.
Look at that. Look at that for a ball between the lines now. De Bruyne, look how far Cancelo's up here.
Playing Sterling. Oh, that is such a poor ball.
It's a poor ball, that, isn't it?
So poor.
I tell you what, that's goal of the season, though. If that's a better ball.
After that move, that ball's on and it's a goal, isn't it? That's poor. Poor.
This is. I mean, Van der Beek. What's he getting here? 3 minutes. That's probably worst signing of the season.
Yeah,
so far, Van der Beek.
For him personally, I think he's probably thought he's coming here. He's coming straight in the side and all that, and it's just been a bit. But is he even a Solskjaer signing? That's the thing, isn't it? Look at Shaw pushing Cancelo. I'd just laugh. See them sort of thing. I'd laugh. I'd be like, mate, it's 2-0. Calm down.
You just wouldn't do it, would you? You got to try and get a goal back.
Yeah.
He's fuming, isn't he, Luke Shaw?
He is. He's not happy with Cancelo.
Fuming.
Him and Shaw have had a nice little while. I think he's looking to snap him at some point. But City will do this all day now, It's a Man United player.
I'll just play it around them now. They've got, they might get a third, but I think they'll probably just play it around.
Yeah.
The next 5-6 minutes. In fact, they just lost it there, though. They're giving it straight. Look at that, Pogba. How poor is that? You just done all that work to win the ball back and then give it away in like a second later.
Yeah. Oh, nice from Zinchenko.
Best player on the pitch for you tonight? Fernandinho?
Yeah, I think Foden's played pretty well. I think Gundogan's played as well, to be fair, especially in the first half, mate.
It's just a team performance, though, isn't it, more than that's when you sign if a team that's probably going to push for the title is when there's no real outstanding.
Gundogan had a bit of a re-emergence as well because he hadn't been, he hadn't been doing that well, really. But
the best thing that happened for him was David Silva leaving. I think it's kind of he's just stepped up into that role and. But yeah, it's no easy task, that is it? Replacing David Silva. I think they're different players, aren't they? But Gundogan just gives them that a little bit more steel. I think you don't often see, certainly the first couple of years under Pep, you wouldn't often see City keep a clean sheet in a game like this or keep it so tight at the back. Like they look solid, don't they, at the back? Completely. Have Man United had a chance tonight? I don't think they have.
Nah, nothing of note really. Zinchenko down the line. That's a good one. 14 York says Ollie will have 100% record 4 semi-finals lost in a row.
It is. Yeah, but then the pundits and who are favouring Ollie Solskjaer will say he's got them to 4 semi-finals. But that's a sign of someone who, in the big moments, doesn't have the tactical nous to get him through. That's why. I don't think they'll be in the title race at the end of the season.
Right. Well, definitely. Who have they got up next? It'll be interesting. They've got Liverpool, haven't they, in a couple of weeks?
Yeah, I think that's the next league game. So I think the only thing I'd say is that couldn't have come at a worse time for anyone who doesn't support Man United.
Burnley. They're away at Burnley the 12th, and then they play Liverpool on the 17th at Anfield.
If they win that, though, then it is panic station. It's panic station. That's the thing, but you'd hope Salah and Mane will just get a bit more, get that confidence back in the cup, and they'll hope that, because I tell you what, do you see any of that Southampton Liverpool game after we came off air?
No, I think, what was I doing? Was we doing a string?
We came off at 20 past 9, and I saw the last 20-25 minutes, and Liverpool had a lot of control, but Salah and Mane, I've never seen them just so looked poor. It looked like Luke Varney and Schoof on the wing, to be honest. It was just like, honestly, like the end product was shocking off both of them. And that's probably why Liverpool lost it, really. It's the kind of game Liverpool normally do all right in when they go one down. They try to find the way to grind teams down. But yeah, you'd imagine Liverpool won't continue to be what they do. They'll recover. They've done this before under Klopp. They always do recover. It just makes the title race better for me that they're stumbling a bit.
Great start. This is the first time this season that there have been no United fans on the chat, which is
they've lost. They've bottled it. Well, they have bottled it, haven't they, tonight? Really, they're at home. The advantage them really in this game, and they've completely and utterly bottled it. Really, they've been outplayed. Look at that offshore.
He's just a fat lad, isn't he? Really, sure. Let's be honest. Absolute unit.
I mean, how much money they spent on Tellez, and they're not starting in a game like this.
He's a good left back, Tellez.
Shot from distance, great block that.
Yeah, they could be away. Yeah, no.
I'll be honest. I think Stones and Diaz have been pretty outstanding as well. I think
in the chat. To be fair, Stones man of the match for some of them.
I think definite shout. Definite shout.
Here's Bruno Fernandes. Still looking for Pogba. Headed out. Foden.
Ooh, that's poor. Poor from Foden, that.
Good.
Corner ball.
Corner.
But again, 30 seconds left on the clock anyway. It's going to be a consolation at the absolute most.
Save, has he?
I don't think he has. I'm just going to have a quick look at the stats, but I can't remember Stefan having to make a save it, So look at the stats.
Michael's made it and said City are winning the title this season. Kevin James says, I honestly think we will get into Europe. I'm with you, mate. I am, Gav.
They've had 2 shots on target, Man United. 2
shots on target all game at home in a semi-final.
39% possession.
39% possession. Great.
That's a battering, isn't it, really? Yeah, City.
Shocking.
I don't know, City Tottenham, I think we've sort of mentioned the subject, but that would be a really good final. 2 completely contrasting teams. You got Son and Kane up against probably Aguero and Jesus will be back in the team by then, when the actual final comes along. Be a really good final.
I'm buzzing for Stones as well. I'm happy to see him back there.
Well, the amount of stick he got, compared to like Maguire and that, because he's got this different. He's more of a Spanish type centre back than he is English. In terms of how he plays. In terms of a bit of class, but he got so much hammer, off the press in that lot because he's just seen as this. He didn't care about football, and he was just like,
50 million. They were saying, weren't they, as well? After
you see the stick, like, Maguire's got himself into trouble with the police, and he's still getting less criticism than John Stones. I don't know, but if he doesn't start for England at the Euros, then I'm afraid it can't not happen. There's no way they can't not start John Stones, is there? I think he gives England a bit of a chance, doesn't he? Because what we were looking at was Maguire and Tyrone Mings as the starting centre backs, and imagine that.
It's nice to see, man. It's nice to see. It obviously still means a lot to Pep and that Carling Cup final now.
Well, it's a chance to win a trophy, isn't it?
That's what it's all about. That's what we're there for, eh? It's been a long one.
City have won this game. They haven't brought on Aguero or Jesus.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's how comfortable it's been for them. They've been able to rest them. They'll probably play in the cup, but that's how comfortable it's been for him in this game.
It has. Andy Wilson says, thanks for the stream tonight. Really enjoyed it. It's been a long one, 2 hours and 8 minutes. How we've managed to fill it, I'm not sure. But we'll continue to do it. We are going to be back tomorrow. 8 o'clock is going to be the time, unless Leeds are playing and it's earlier. We're going to aim to do 1 live per day. Tomorrow we'll be back with Jamie, Kieran, and Paul, fans of all Leeds TV, Leeds fans, and we're just going to chat about, I don't know, whatever comes out. We need to be careful of repeating ourselves, but I'm sure we'll find something. We might have to start just doing the 1 to 5 with each guest that comes on. Maybe not post it out, but just something. But yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in. I hope it's helped in some sort of way. Because, like you say,
if it has, guys, let us know. It does. Honestly, that means that if it feels like we're helping in any way at all with what's happening at this moment in time, then that's absolutely insane. We can have a little talk about that tomorrow.
But like at the minute, it's really quiet. I do think it's going to be pretty quiet for Leeds United throughout the window. Obviously, today we've had Tomori, but then Graham Smith said no, that's not happening. With Jordan Stevens, he's going on loan to Bradford. After Swindon, I think that's been cut short. Tyler Roberts maybe going to Derby. But other than that, there's not really anything. You're going to see a lot of guff. Strikers, I don't think we'll go. If you see a striker linked, I would just knock it off because we're not going to get a striker for me.
No, I can't see it. So the last position you expect us to get anything is striker.
I've seen a few. What about this striker from Italy? I don't think a striker will happen at all. I don't think we'll get a winger. So if you see them linked, I think the only thing that we'll look to do is someone to help click out in there. We had Cuisance in the door, basically. So that was something that was done. We've looked at Rodrigo de Paul. I think that's gone now. So I think if anything, any sort of credible links, I think it'll be in midfield. But that's just for me. I guess we'll have to see. Soft Southern B says it's helped having you two in lockdown. Nice. Wayne Ridley said different, emotional. Enjoyed it, lads. Robbie Powell says good stream. See you lot tomorrow. I think Robbie's messaged me about coming on as well. Actually, I think it is Robbie. So yeah, if you want to get involved, let us know. Story says great stream, great chatting about football. It is, isn't it? It is. Although I don't know that much, to be honest. I only know about my Leeds. So when Oscar asks me questions, I have to blag it a lot of the time. But it is what it is. I'm a chief blagger.
Well, on Friday we'll be able to just have a bit of banter with Hal. Really looking forward to it.
Yeah, before the whistle blows, we'll have a look at the FA Cup games that weekend and just where people's heads are at. Obviously, Corey, Locks as well, Leicester fan. It's going to be a shame, innit? Because we're going to have to replace Hal at the end of the season because he'll be down in the Championship, so his time with us is going to be short, I think.
I don't think we have to replace him.
I don't know. I think you might have to accept that thing that he might get replaced.
Just so you didn't think things get bad enough for Hal, he's now facing getting ditched by all Leeds TV.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be that bothered, if I'm honest.
No, I don't think
I know his missus won't, because I think his missus don't like that it's at 8 o'clock. I think he keeps trying to get us to change the time. But 8 o'clock works for us and for yous, I think. But yeah, it's been a long one. I think we'll leave it there. Do you, Oscar? Thanks everyone for joining us. Have you got anything to add, Oscar?
No, don't forget. Just keep smiling, guys. Keep smiling, and it'll soon pass. This in terms of time. Hopefully, in terms of, we know how quick last year went. A couple of weeks, and then hopefully we'll be back out and about.
We will be ruined if the government get it wrong and they say, "Oh, we're going to extend the lockdown." We'll be like,
"Oh, don't have to worry about that."
Yeah,
we will be struggling for content then if they say that. We'll have to come up with anything then at that point if they're saying extend the lockdown.
Well, I'm tired, me. Busy day tomorrow as well. Loads of stuff. I'm going on 90minute.com as well to defend Bielsa after some comments were made on there. So if you're about, make sure you tune into that on that.
Ian Holloway.
Yeah. Not great. Keep it locked as always, and we'll see you tomorrow about 8 o'clock normal time. Have a nice evening. We'll do that awkward